Nathaniel Bassey, Messi Chinwo. Oh my God. Beautiful things he has done. Welcome to Citi. Welcome to the Citi Breakfast Show. 27th day of June. Starting off the show with Business Sense, brought to you by ADB. Offering a variety of personal loans, including top-up loans at significantly reduced rates. Let's talk about a longer tenure. An offer open to non-customers as well. Call us on 0302-210-210. Visit any of our branches. ADB, the People's Bank, ADB, truly a Greek and more. Business Sense this morning is courtesy of Finex Skills Hub. They posted this on the platform yesterday. A quote attributed to Professor Feynman. And they had 3 diagrams comparing knowledge to intelligence and to wisdom. So according to this diagram, knowledge is having the right answers. But intelligence is asking the right questions. But wisdom is knowing when to ask the right questions. Let's go through this again. So, according to Finance Skills Hubs and quotes that they put out from Professor Feynman, Feynmann, knowledge is having the right answers. So, having the right answers is good. That's what a lot of us strive to do when we go to school. You go and write an exam, you want to answer the right questions. Now, but the lecturer is obviously more intelligent than the student because he is asking the right questions. So, in a sense, asking the right questions is higher than answering them. So that's why they say reason may answer questions, but it takes imagination to ask them. So those of us who ask questions have to do more than those who answer them. So if you're going to do an interview, you must do more research than even the guy coming to answer the questions. Because you need to discern whether he's lying to you or whether he's speaking the truth. And if you haven't done your research, then you would ask the wrong question. But I thought the wonderful one was wisdom. So whilst knowledge is having the right answers and intelligence is asking the right questions, he says wisdom is knowing when to ask the right questions. Because there's nothing so bad like asking the right question at the wrong time, right? That's so bad. So it takes wisdom to know the right time to apply the intelligence that you have. And I think this is fantastic. So if there's anything you want to strive for, anything you want to pray for wisdom, that you will know when to apply the intelligence that you have. This morning, I took Business Sense from Finex Skills Hub, friends of mine who have been working with us on our data journalism. And a quote attributed to Professor Feynman.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Meet Mr. Ansah. He prefers to receive money from his friends and loved ones through the Agricultural Development Bank's remittance services, and his reason is simple.
Oh, for me, my brother lives overseas and he often sends me money. I can access it at any ADB branch nationwide, and what he sends is exactly what I receive. No wahala.
Is that why you prefer ADB's remittance services?
Of course. Well, whether it is Western Union, MoneyGram, ZPay Instant Money, Unity Link, Real Money Transfer, or Transfast, receiving my money through ADB's remittance services is guaranteed. And with some of these services, you can receive the money directly into your ADB account. Do you know what the best part is?
Share with us.
I can receive it at any ADB branch or selected branches on Saturdays and holidays. So my brother, you see, if you go somewhere else and you don't receive payment on time, all I can say is woko yeah.
Visit any of ADB's 87 network branches nationwide, whether you are a customer or not, for the best in remittance services. ADB, truly a Greek and more.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
by Total Energies. A poorly maintained car engine will age faster and chop your money more. So insist on the newly formulated quartz engine oil with ART. Ensures optimal performance for your car. Improves protection against mechanical wear by up to 74%. Choose quartz from Total Energies. Choose the engine oil that keeps your engine running efficiently and effectively. The news is also brought to you, the newspaper review, that is by the Fidelity Bank Ejapa. Do you know of Ejapa? Good market. Ejapa Mark account. It has a number of features, including a free subscription to our e-banking platforms, convenient payment and cash collections options such as GHQR, mobile money collect and mobile teller cash collection, a dedicated relationship officer, and free insurance of up to 48,000 CDs. Simply dial star 776 star 0 hash or visit myfidelitybank.com.ga to sign up today. So I'm here with Nathan Kwao and Richard Sky. He's dressed in a very interesting way, wearing a, I don't know, it's like a, I don't, you know, when I was in the UK, I used to wear this kind of thing. It's like a sweater, but it's sleeveless, yes. And you wear it on top of your shirt. So it formalizes an informal shirt. But you can also make it informal by wearing a
coolie.
No, they call it a newspaper boy's cap. Then you fold it a bit. It means the weather is not too cold, but you are not sure. Yeah. So Charlie, you look like a fake London boy. Charlie, there's a song like that too. Fake London boy. Fake London boy. Hey. Charlie,
but I'm asking, like, if you were, for example, if you were in a plain shirt, can you wear a tie with this?
What's a plain shirt?
I'm just saying, like, you know, this shirt is.
Yeah, you can wear a tie inside.
Okay, and still have the.
There are many combinations. Yeah, you can wear leather. You can wear khaki too. Yeah. No, Charlie, the London, the Sky do the London. You know, London City University, LLM. Yeah, man. No, Charlie. And today he'll be delivering some lectures. Yeah, yes. So please, ladies and gentlemen, today. When we are praying, let's pray not for Richard Sky, but for the people he's going to lecture. Because as for Sky, the people don't know what is coming.
We know.
The people at the boot camp
don't know.
Wear a metal hat. Because he's coming to unleash legal, artificial. Charlie, I can be a He's going to. It's a concoction of legal technology, artificial intelligence in a potpourri of academic gambadosity. Hey, Charlie. So today, the 39 or so participants of the management boot camp.
Tell them that.
Please eat well. Because Richard Sky is approaching Abokobi with torrential hostility.
If you know anybody at that boot camp, tell them that wherever it is they are sitting, they should strap themselves into the seat.
You know, the research. No, you take it. Okay.
Case upon case.
This time when I'm coming to the breakfast show, I always carry my constitution and I look inside because everything I catch up constitution. Every story I get at the law says something.
You never know what to
law school of by echo. We all go.
You know what you can help is just bring a compendium of the cases
so that we can also look through. Charlie, because this time we know they sit up.
The Ghanaian Times says this morning, who wins are saying not seed. And three candidates are on the front page this morning. The MPP Charles Opoku is here. And then Benis Enyunam Sefenu of the LPG.
Liquefied Petroleum, sorry. Liberal Party of Ghana.
Correct.
Liberal Party.
And then Mr. James Jachikweson of the NDC also here smiling. Also on the front page, man gets 15 years for defiling girl who is 12 years old.
Oh, Lord.
Terrible story. And then another story says petrol tanker drivers declare nationwide strike over on more trouble roads. And then also yesterday, I don't know, I've not seen that story yesterday. Organized labor declared a nationwide strike, which is taking effect.
But the newspapers, some haven't seen
for some reason, I've not seen it.
But we have it somewhere.
And then Coleman, Robert Coleman, has been honored for his contribution to one constituency.
Wembley,
one astroturf.
Wembley, we all go to Wembley. Come and do something in my area.
The Daily Graphic also has the Asinot story. And their angle says police deploy drones to complement security measures. EC prepares against rainfall. So They are looking
Yeah.
dealing with
Actually, we never factored the rain in.
contingencies, yeah.
Because the rain can affect turnout.
Yeah, so they are looking at countering the contingency or preparing for those things. Speaker attacks politics of monetization. $7 million food security project launched. And there's a special supplement on Idil Adha. Okay. Other stories. Ghana will achieve debt sustainability. That's according to the Chinese envoy. And Botswana delegation visits Jospon Group's waste treatment plant. And on the back page of the Daily Graphic, they have the strike story. They are talking about the petroleum and gas tanker drivers. Plus Dabwasi drowning tragedy. Third body retrieved.
Just young people want to swim.
So, let me take you to the Chronicle. Dampare to crash hooliganism in Asin North is here on the front page together with some of the leaders of the two major political parties in our country. Also, something here that says new post office for Ofuase Ayerebe. Ashanti GJA celebrates IKJC. And then APSA case, 6 accused persons surrender to police.
The Daily Guide says D-Day at Asin North. Vote MPP, that's according to Baumia. And IGP disarms bodyguards. In other stories, all set for Collins Dowda others trial. Start cash movement with armored cars. BOG orders. Are the cars even around? And then organized labor declares strike on July 10.
The finder says too close to call, but Opoku tipped to win with narrow margin. Also, police assure adequate security in Asin North by-elections. Ofuase Ayerebe gets new post office. And Zipline flies 100,000 anthrax vaccines to Upper East region.
The Anchor newspaper also has a take on the Asin North by-election, and they say the police is deploying 800 officers there. NDC chairman denies extortion claims, says he received 3,500 CD token from failed MP aspirant, and Mahama sharing ministerial posts in opposition.
The business analyst says this morning 79,364 assets registered as collateral in first quarter of 2023. Wisconsin University gets approval from Nursing Council of Nigeria to offer nursing program. That's interesting. And then this one also says that adequate measures in place to ensure security in Asin North. That's according to the police. And scrap needless teacher licensure exams. Kwesi Pratt tells government.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Daybreak newspaper says dramatic U-turn at GRA, 906 transfers on hold. US applauds Akufo-Addo on economic reforms, and they have the two strike stories, one on the tanker drivers and then the other from organized
So lots of strike stories. What about the business, graphic
the
business?
graphic business says IPPs demand 30% of $1.4 billion debt
Watch this
to
space.
keep lights on.
Charlie?
And they also kick against debt restructuring.
You know the IPPs control about at least 50% of our power. So if they say if they are not paid, so they want how much? 30%.
So they say they want 30%
of what? Of the amount they are owed.
Yes, to keep the lights on. Other stories. IMF program.
Let's pay them.
But where's the money?
Oh, we'll find it.
IMF program designed to be extended. And will inflation remain high?
That is the question.
On page 9.
Lots of good stories today. Yeah. Let me give you a few here. City Newsroom. Asin North, Dafia Mekpo slams IGP of a directive for bodyguards of MPs to surrender weapons. We heard that on the news. Meanwhile, Global Info Analytics says the race is too close to call, or it's a race between NDC and MPP too close to call. Now, a few other stories. Sit-down strike not aimed at sabotaging government, Tanker Drivers Union. Also, a couple stories here. Ban on ruminant from Burkina Faso, Togo reviewed. TITAG expresses concern over delay in payment of teacher trainee allowances. And then football fans call for ambulance at sporting venues after referee's death. So there's no ambulance at, the initial stuff about the woman the referee was beaten. There was no security at I think like a second leg level.
Division 2 women's
Yes.
day.
Now there's also no ambulance.
The whole incident, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, if I go to City Business, a couple of stories there. We are told that USAID commits $7 million to support Ghanaian smallholder farmers. AfriExim's digital platforms to boost trade and economic development. City Business Festival focuses on agribusiness value chains today. Now, if you go to Majo Online, incumbency abuse and vote buying are devaluing Ghana's democracy, according to Kojo Asante of the CDD. There's also an analysis of Asin North, and they're saying 3 candidates, one winner. Asin North decides. And then Samira Empowerment and Humanitarian Project embarks on BEC revision project. Now, I want to just give you a couple of stories globally. BBC says angry Putin is seeking to show up support following mutiny. All right. And then new images show Chinese spy balloons over Asia. But my story of the day, New Zealand to wipe out every last rat. New Zealand.
They should invite brothers to go and be eating the thing. Problem no day.
New Zealand to wipe out every last rat.
No, they should give visa to just about 100 people from a certain part of the jurisdiction.
Talking about rats, about a month or a month and a half ago, I saw somebody grilling or roasting 2 large ones in the vicinity.
You mean he was roasting Ebola rat?
I'm telling you.
He was roasting Ebola rat. Now, the writers also, there's a lot of stories about Russia. Putin is paying tribute to Russian pilots killed fighting the mutineers. Lots of stories around the Russia issue. But the story of the day, New Zealand. But I wanted to give me the, Asin North summary. Then you give me the power story because I like that story.
Yes. Okay. So the Daily Graphic has that. Now their angle is dealing with security.
Yeah.
And the story says the Ghana Police Service will deploy drones at conflict-prone areas in the Asin North constituency to capture situations of conflict and violence in real time during today's by-election. Also, no weapon will be allowed at the polling stations in an election which will be supervised strictly by regular police personnel.
All right.
So that's on the police side of things. Now, the EC,
they are preparing against the rain.
Central Regional Director of the EC, Gladys Pinkrato, told the Daily Graphic that the polling stations were located mostly in schools, which meant that the rain would not affect voting at those centers.
All right. And then
meanwhile, this other angle says who wins Asin North seat. Of course, we do know that there's a poll that is out from
the poll says it's too close to call.
And then if you go to the Ghanaian Times story, it says a total of 41,168 registered voters are expected to vote in 99 polling stations across the constituency. Now, 3 candidates are contesting today's by-elections, with Charles Opoku of the New Patriotic Party and the National Democratic Congress's James Jachikwesin as the frontrunners in what is expected to be a keenly contested election.
Right.
Now, the 3rd candidate is Benis Enyunam Sepenu, representing the Liberal Party of Ghana, which is LPG. And she's viewed by political watchers as, quote-unquote, adding up to the numbers.
Now, let's look at 2 strike stories. The first one is the petroleum tanker people. The second one is the organized labor.
Yeah, that story is by Ian Morte from Tema.
You are still in the Ghanaian Times.
Exactly. And it says that the Ghana National Petroleum Drivers Union and the Ghana Gas Tanker Drivers Union declared an indefinite sit-down industrial action nationwide yesterday. Now, he claimed that the strike was necessary due to the unmotorable nature of their roads from the GTP runabout at Community 4. Bernard, I told you about this some weeks ago in Tema, in the Greater Accra region, linking the Tema oil refinery through heavy industrial area to Pone, capital of the Pone Kantamanso district. Now, speaking in an interview with the Ghanaian Times yesterday, Mr. Raymond Aflo, Secretary of the Ghana National Petroleum Drivers Union, stated that the strike will be effective until government fixed the rules. The rules are really terrible. But if you go there...
This is Community 4.
Charlie.
Still in strike issues, the organized labor.
Yes, they're on page 6 of the Daily Guide.
And what's their issue?
The story says, in a bid to send a strong signal to the government.
Still on this Asogli matter.
Yes, over the unfair treatment of workers in the country, organized labor has declared an indefinite strike starting Monday, July 10. The decision of the group was announced at an emergency meeting with union leaders in Accra after several attempts to get the management of Sunon Asogli Power Company Limited to reinstate the 3 sacked union leaders proved futile. Now, Dr. Anthony Ban, who is the Secretary General of the TUC, who made the revelation, said Sunon Asogli Power Ghana was given until June 26 to settle the matter and call the sacked workers back to strike and enter negotiations with the Ghana Mine Workers Union. So it
And
looks
they haven't
like,
done this. So is this
Yes.
for all organized labor?
well, it looks like that.
All right, now let's go to the graphic business. Front page is talking about power situation.
IPPs, yes. And the story is written by Emmanuel Bruce. And it says, even before the government presents a formal proposal to independent power producers on how it intends to restructure a $1.4 billion debt in a second round of domestic debt rationalization, the group of 6 says any debt restructuring discussion is off the table. Consequently, the IPPs have made a demand for the government to immediately pay 30% of the debt, noting that failure to do so would mean that they could not guarantee power supplies beyond June 30.
Wow.
Now, this stand by the IPPs has sparked fears of an impending load shedding exercise and also threatened the government's objectives of reforming the energy sector under the extended credit facility with the IMF.
By the way, the tanker drivers strike is not limited to Tema, because on Citi Business News, Ashanti region tanker drivers have also declared a sit-down strike. So I'm not sure if it's the same issue. Tanker drivers belonging to the Ghana National Petroleum Tanker Union in Ashanti region initiated a nationwide sit-down strike to draw attention to the deteriorating condition of roads leading to Kumasi Depot of Bost. So it's not just an Accra issue. According to the drivers, the recent onset of heavy rains has further worsened road conditions, posing a significant risk to the transportation of flammable petroleum products. The drivers said they were concerned about the safety hazards posed by the bad roads, which hinder the movement of tankers to and from the depot. And they spoke to Edmond Baba. This is Citi Business News, Ashanti Regional Chairman of the Ghana National Petroleum Tanker Association, who emphasized that the sit-down strike will persist until all necessary road repairs are undertaken. So, guys, this petrol thing, let's be careful. Let's come to other stories.
Still talking about transportation. If you go to the Chronicle, the editorial for this morning deals with the issue of armored bullion vans. And
After the
fact that-
Ablekuma attack.
The Chronicle basically has written a brilliant editorial and says the Chronicle does not want to bore readers with more examples about how we have recklessly continued to the deaths of promising police officers and how their careers have been abruptly ended, but to stress that from the above records, the narrative is getting scarier, and for which reason all stakeholders must support the central bank in ensuring the safety of police officers who offer escort services in the country. In other words, they want proper bullion vans.
Well, talking about safety, let me take you to football. Football fans call for ambulance at sporting venues after referee's death. You know, we have one constituency, one ambulance. But Sky, we need so many more ambulances. It's like we have 30 million people. So if you have 200 and something ambulances, it's good, but it's not enough, right? Football fans in the home municipality are calling on the relevant authorities to make an ambulance available at sporting venues following the death of a referee at the host sports stadium on Sunday, June 25. The referee, who was also a police officer, met some timely death after collapsing while watching the finals of the Volta FA Division 2 Middle League between Home Stars and Interlice. Fans say the availability of an ambulance at the facility during the match could have prevented the death of the officer and are calling on authorities to provide ambulance services at sporting events. Now, the GFA presidency and other elections are being held. I really hope that somebody's campaigning on the basis of improving the safety of footballers, the safety of referees, and of fans. You know, these are in many serious countries. You can't have a football game without proper paramedics.
Yes, they have to
Because
do
it's
that.
a high,
Real thing. People have died on the field.
They beat up a referee and there was no security to protect her. A referee dies, there's no ambulance to convey them. You know, and if we say we want to develop the game, these are the things we should add to the game. It's not just about strikers scoring goals and black stars. No, football is a development issue, not just an entertainment issue. So we are approaching football like Yankoshe Black Stars. No. Look at the number of jobs. Imagine, Sky, imagine if you had an ambulance each at every football park.
Yep.
Do you know the number of football matches played? Do you know how many people are employed in every ambulance? About 4 people.
Yeah.
Do you know, and that's how you grow an economy. But we are looking at football like entertainment. We are like children playing in a market.
Yes.
You know, there's so much value in football,
I agree with you.
and we are just watching the game. We don't protect our referees, and there's no standards.
I agree with you.
It's
brother.
terrible.
I agree with you. I agree.
You
For
can't have
me,
an ambulance at the football match.
For me, it even goes beyond that.
And we spend all our money on black stars.
Charlie.
Anyway, Sky, you're talking about that. Page 6 of the Daily Guide also has the BOG's directive. They call it an order. And they are telling all financial institutions to use armored plated bullion vans for cash transportation.
Okay.
Now, the Ghana Association of Banks had already planned to implement the use of such vehicles
Even reduce cash in the
starting
system.
from July 1. But it looks like following the latest episode at Ablekuma, they want to up the ante.
We should reduce the look.
That's why I was enraged when I saw that notice from what they call what's the name of the
Which one?
MTN.
Momo people, what's it?
MTN.
MTN. But they say they have since
They are put on. And the other point is that even the e-levy reduced the progress we made with reducing cash because
they have to scrap it.
you can't be having. I don't know about the country you went to study. Do they carry money plenty like that?
No.
Charlie,
Credit card,
let's use the
bank
card and things.
Yeah, that's what we should do.
Let's go to other stories.
Okay, KNUST says it is ready to recycle plastic waste for industrial purposes. That great story on the environment is on page 9 of the Chronicle. And it says the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, KNUST, is set to mobilize and recycle plastic waste of AEDRC, a community within the university, for industrial purposes. Now, the university has therefore donated 50 customized waste bins categorized into organic and plastic waste to the community. Now, Professor Elisowusu Dabo, who is the Pro-Vice Chancellor of the KNUST, at a community engagement at IDUSA, said plastic pollution alters habitats and natural processes, reducing the ecosystem's ability to adapt to climate change, which affects millions of people and their lives.
We want to see more of this.
Exactly.
I saw two things at Legon. I drove past Legon. I saw a Toyota Center that's and they partner with the university and engineering, and I saw a wastewater treatment plant financed by the African Development Bank close to the Botanical Gardens. And KNUST is also doing plastic recycling. We need to see our universities become more relevant to their communities. So, Professor Ellis Dabo, congratulations. This is fantastic. Keep up the good work.
Great.
Let's come to Nathan.
The Daybreak newspaper has something from the GRA.
All right.
Now, the story says the Ghana Revenue Authority Customs Division has reversed its decisions to transfer some 906 workers.
Okay.
Now, the GRA had, in a May 29, 2023 circular to all staff, argued that the mass posting was necessary in order to place staff with certain experiences at the right places, as well as correcting distortions.
Public service transfers can be punishment. Sky, when you annoy me, I'll transfer you to... and I'll transfer you to Vlitoji. Do you know Vlitoji? Vlitoji is near Hogway and Togo. When you get it, you don't get empty. You'll be seeing Togo network.
You get
Good morning to Peter Amel. Sunday, I wanted to interview John Peter Amel, and he was at Vlitoji. So, when I called him, no one went to Togo. He was campaigning. He went to Togo. Vlitoji. I'll transfer you there. Talk to me. John Peter.
how many hours drive?
I was supposed to interview him on point of view. So when we planned the team, when I call him, the thing started speaking French. Hey, Charlie's guy. Charlie, the guy was campaigning at Vlitoji. Yeah.
But did he
did the show.
Yeah, so they will port.
He answered the call from Vlitoji.
Yeah, it will reach through Togo.
John
So
Peter
you
Mel.
Nairobi.
Charlie, we need railway. We need the railway to finish. Oh, Peter, you have to finish the railway.
Yes, the railway.
Yeah, it's very important. You have to finish that railway. Otherwise, Charlie, you won't go scot-free. Now, let me give you the rat story, if you have it. So, the main story globally is Russia. So, Charlie, Putin is not happy at all. Angry Putin wants to show up support following the mutiny. So, President Putin, the Russian president, made his first TV appearance on Monday evening following Yevgeny, what's the man's name? Prigozhin's rebellion on Saturday. He said the leaders of last weekend's Wagner mutiny wanted to see Russia choked in a bloody strife. He vowed to bring them to justice, but said Wagner troops will be allowed to join the army, go to Belarus, or return home. So that's story one. But the story that worries me in New Zealand, it says New Zealand seeks to exterminate predators to save native birds.
Wow.
So basically, they want to protect birds in the area of a place called Wellington. And they want to do that by ridding the area of rats, every last one of them.
Charlie, just import the brothers.
Charlie, they say they want to check coil traps and toxin-laced bait boxes.
That's Carlos.
You know, Gamo. They want to catch. They are using a GPS app which guides the people through the bush devices to the root of the rats.
They must have forgotten
Wow,
about
rats
Now,
feeding on.
eradicating rats and other predators is the goal, not just for this person, but for all of New Zealand.
Yes.
The government expects the task to be completed by 2050. Now, the largest territory to have removed all rats in South Georgia in the US did in New Zealand did this some time ago. We are basically saying that the rats are feasting on the kiwi, which is a national symbol.
Okay.
And they are not happy that the rats are dealing with the kiwis.
But the rats also have a right to live.
They prefer kiwi to rat. So we too can prefer what we want.
That is okay.
So some people prefer pangolin, some prefer something. But they say they want to. The kiwi is their national symbol.
And the
Well,
rats
if-
are feeding on
But
the.
they have-
And this started from 1960.
Oh, I see. So
They wanted to clear rats from many parts of the island.
Oh, Charlie.
But from 2010, people have been serious about trying to remove rats.
Yeah, but the environmentalists, what do they have?
They
to
say
say
they
about
lose
that?
26 million birds a year to predators.
I mean, it balances the ecosystem, doesn't it?
Now, human beings want to interfere. They should just export them to some place. Some people need it for something.
I'm saying that they should actually import.
In fact, in
dollars.
2016, a law marked the worst predators for eradication. 3 types of rat: Pacific rat, ship rat, Norway rat.
Look at that. Charlie, that old Damian.
Now, so in 2016, they came up with a law to eradicate 3 rats: the Pacific rat, the ship rat, and the Norway rat. Now, there's one called Stuart, weasels, and ferrets, and possums. And they wanted to finish it by 2050.
Yeah.
But the rats are very resilient.
That's right. We Jakatu titi ho.
Charlie.
Obi rekpele tu mana dela.
Yes.
You see that rat? Before you before you cut it open, you do T. You write the letter T. So you do a cut across the.
Let me give you more.
And then you do a long.
Yes.
one.
Now it says that
Open it up,
the
and then you
projects.
remove the intestines.
The Project's 36 strong team turned amateur rat catchers into proper exterminators. It supplied them with anticoagulant poison, which is much more effective than traps, as well as GPS app, which stores information for every device in real time. Cameras have been installed in hot boxes. If any rat shows up, they said they will know where they are. Every rat found dead is sent to the lab for autopsy. This is crucial because anticoagulants by design kill slowly.
Okay.
Rats are intelligent social animals and learn to avoid things that obviously harm them. As a poison rat dies away from a bait box, predator Free Wellington needs the autopsies to monitor effectiveness.
We do autopsy on the rat.
Yeah, because the rats are killing the birds. I need to call Professor, what's the name, Chris Gordon, to check whether this is ethical.
I think that
Because we, the rat lovers, are not. Why do you want to kill rats because of kiwi? We don't agree. We have to protest. We have to write to their parliament.
yeah, we'll write to them.
And we have to deny them aid for killing rats. It's very important. They can't do that. Fred Duho, good morning.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa!
Bobo, so how's your engine now?
It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you can feel better energy.
Can't touch this.
Tell you guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that. Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Hey, sorry, Chairman Mane. Chairman, hey, Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
You've started your small business and have all these big dreams, but then reality strikes and there are so many things to do at once. What you need is the Ejapa account from Fidelity Bank. The Ejapa account gives your business a boost. It comes with a range of payment and cash collection options, such as GHQR, mobile money collection, and mobile teller cash collection. You will also enjoy prompt FX supply, competitive interest rate on loans, and free annual insurance cover of up to 48,000 Ghana cedis for your business, plus a waiver on service fees. It's time to do good business with Fidelity Bank.
Dial *776*0# or visit www.fidelitybank.com.gh to sign up for a Fidelity Ejapa account today, because together we are more. Terms and conditions apply.
Fidelity Bank, believe with us.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
City Business News with Ni Latte. Latte, good morning, Ni.
Good morning, Bernard. Hello to you out there. Welcome to the breakfast edition of Citi Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN, Goyle, and powered by our most comprehensive business news website, citibusinessnews.com. Coming up, IPPs lament government posturing over outstanding arrears ahead of this week's meeting in demand for debt settlement. Also, fuel shortage looms amidst economic downturn following strike by petroleum tankers drivers. We get to hear from the LPG Marketers Association on the impact of the strike. I am Ni Lati. Here are the details. Now, the Chamber of Independent Power Producers, Distributors and Bulk Consumers Ghana says government posture over their calls for it to pay outstanding arrears owed them is baffling. The Chamber last month, in a letter to government, stated that they will not be in a position to guarantee continued generation of electricity if the government fails to pay them 30% of outstanding arrears owed its members. As a result, the IPPs last week Thursday again threatened to suspend power supply beginning July 1 if the government does not respond positively to their calls. Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber, Elikplim Kwabla Apetogbo, has been speaking to Citi Business News on the issue.
We've not received any response officially from the recipients, any of the recipients. From the very onset, we indicated our difficulties, our frustrations. You remember we wrote earlier, around 27th of March, indicating our frustration doing business with ECG. Basically, we are not receiving payment for our services. And the second reminder went on the same subject. We've not received any feedback on that. And we are sending a final reminder that we are not able to stretch ourselves beyond June 30th. We are very much aware of the consequences this will cause. Why should we take pride in shutting down the power plants? No, we know the consequences. So we are not just doing it for doing its sake. It's just for the mere fact that we lack the resource to continue our operations. Honestly, let me use this word that it shows lack of concern for the public, lack of respect to the investor, and actually it has not painted a good image of the country. It raises the country risk level for any future investments.
That was the CEO of the Independent Power Producers, Distributors and Bulk Consumers, Elikplim Kwabla Apetogbo. Meanwhile, the government and the IPPs are set to have a meeting regarding the outstanding arrears owed to the producers this week. The objective of the meeting is to establish a payment plan that will address the issue and avoid any power supply interruptions. Away from that, and the fortunes of the country's economy is expected to take a major hit if the ongoing strike by the petroleum tanker drivers persists. This is the concern of the LPG Marketers Association of Ghana. There are also concerns of a looming shortage of petroleum products, which could disrupt business activities. There's more in the following report.
After suffering its worst economic crisis in a generation, Ghana's economy is gradually showing signs of recovery. However, with the cedi's still depreciation and inflation on the rise, the economy is not out of the woods yet. There are renewed concerns that the economy could experience another recession if the issues with the tanker drivers are not swiftly addressed.
Now we have some amount of fuel in the stations, but it has to be fed by these drivers. The tanks at the station needs to be replenished. But once we dry up the fuel that we have in the system, I can assure you that this can grind the economy to a halt. And this is an economy that is struggling to revive itself from the devastating effect of COVID.
Gabriel Kumi is the Vice President of the Liquefied Petroleum Gas Marketers Association. Gabriel Kumi also called on the Finance Ministry to quickly make funds available for the rehabilitation of the roads in the petroleum enclave in order for the drivers to resume work.
Something drastic needs to happen as immediately as possible to get this legitimate demand of our drivers resolved. In this fight, we need to get the commitment of both the road minister. He has to be committed to fix the roads, and the finance ministry needs to also be committed to release the necessary funds to get these roads fixed. And we are appealing to all those ministries that it's time to fix this. At times where we take excavated there, and when the driver goes back to work, everything is gone back to business as usual. They should properly fix this, because the amount of taxes being generated from these depots are so enormous that we don't even expect this situation to even exist in the first place.
You heard the Vice President of the LPG Marketers Association, Gabriel Kumi, ending that report by my colleague Nashika Caesar. Moving on, the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry is pushing for strengthened macroeconomic management to support the operations of businesses in the country. The push is coming at a time business owners are reeling under the impact of harsh business conditions, but the chamber insists that government must be mindful of its fiscal recovery measures to correct the imbalances in the economy. Mark Beduabuaje, Executive Director of the Chamber, tells Citi Business News that the private sector needs cushioning through the elimination of major barriers of production.
The macroeconomic management and the micro, they complement each other. But we have used the macro, which is the fiscal and the monetary, to weaken the micro. But the micro is the foundation, that is the productive sector. If you have a very strong micro, you can easily resolve your macro issues. So if you look at the countries that are doing well in the management of their macro, they have resolved all the challenges at the firm level, the industry level. So the private sector is strong, the manufacturing sector is strong, and they are producing. The focus is on production. When you solve that, then the businesses will be able to pay more taxes. The businesses will now be able to produce the goods that you are importing. So, for instance, we are saying that we import almost everything. The reason being that we don't produce locally. So, if you have empowered, incentivized our local industries to produce the goods that we are import substitution, the dollar that you will require to import, that dollar will be here. And also, those that are producing will begin to export, and you will get the foreign revenue to shore up your balance of payment. In that case, you will not go and borrow.
Executive Director of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mark Bedu Abuaji, speaking there. Now, as part of efforts to make the poultry sector more cost-effective and sustainable, the Ghana Incentive-Based Risk-Sharing System for Agricultural Lending, GESAL, says it is crucial for government to implement measures to help stem the high cost of production of feed that the sector continues to battle with. This, according to the Chief Executive Officer of GESAL, Techi Sraha, comes as government has failed over the years to curb the high importation of poultry products, leading to rampant job losses locally. He made the remarks on the on-air series of the 2023 edition of the Citi Business Festival on the topic Opportunities in the Agric Value Chain.
The cost of maize and soya has gone so high, and it constitutes close to 60% of the feed cost. So if that cost, that ingredient component is so high, then it makes the cost of operation so high. So in the end, you produce chicken, which is far higher than the imported. We need to address that challenge in terms of how can we support farmers to produce maize more efficiently, achieve the potential yield of 5-6 metric tons per hectare instead of the averaging 1.9, 1.8.
That was the Chief Executive Officer of GESAL, Techi Sraha. The full interview on the topic Opportunities in the Agric Value Chain comes off at 9 a.m. on the Citi Breakfast Show. Meanwhile, the final forum of the Citi Business Festival 2023 will be held later today on the topic Understanding and Leveraging Agribusiness Value Chains. Join our panel of experts as they discuss opportunities in the agribusiness value chain and the best ways to take advantage of them live on Citi TV at 11 a.m. The panel will include William Nete, Head of Agribusiness at Absa Bank Ghana Limited, Dr. Roger Canton, former Chief Research Scientist of CSIR, Kwesi Kobo, CEO of GESAL, and Alberta Nana Echa Akosa, founder of AgriHouse Foundation. The 2023 edition of the Citi Business Festival is powered by Citi TV and Citi FM in partnership with APSA and is proudly sponsored by MTN Momo, MTN Business, and ZP with support from GESAL. On the interbank foreign exchange market, where banks trade amongst themselves, the dollar remained unchanged and is selling at 10 cedis 99 pesos. The British pound lost 2 pesos and is selling at 13 cedis 98 pesos. The euro also lost 1 peso and is selling at 11 cedis 99 pesos. However, at some forex bureaus in the capital, the dollar is selling at 11 cedis 75 pesos, while the British pound is selling at 15 cedis and the euro is going for 12 cedis 75 pesos. Let's now join Mark Jordan Sikanati of Data Bank for the latest updates on the bonds market.
Investors' demand for T-bills bounced back last week as the government raised 2.28 billion Ghana cedis, exceeding the gross target by 3.5%. The 91-day yield increased 128 basis points to 22.97%, while the 182-day and the 364-day yields advanced to 25.44% and 29.25% respectively. The secondary bond market remained lively last week, with a total volume traded of 112.9 million Ghana cedis. The 4-year bond maturing on February 2027 dominated market activity, contributing 84% of the total market turnover. The Data Bank Bond Index advanced to 81.89 points, with a weighted yield to maturity of 12.85%.
That was Mark Jordan Sikanati of Data Bank with the latest updates on the bonds market. And that does it for the breakfast edition of City Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN Goil and powered by our most comprehensive business news website, citynewsbusinessnews.com. My name is Ni Lati. Have a good business day.
Want to feel energized for more? Fuel up with Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from Goil. Our high grade fuel comes at no extra cost, but with more power. And our Diesel XP, it's low in sulfur, making it an eco-friendly option for your vehicle. Experience high performance and quality with our products. Available everywhere. Choose Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Good energy.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
You see me sit in silence, sipping my liquor. Making no link up, I'm picking no course. This generation, we know they get that. Our mind is focused, we know they hear what we show up. But the money there, that be where we there. Chilling like it's a holiday, but we still got bills to pay. Oh, time is money, so we know they joke. Focus on global, non local. No, don't local. As I suffer, they get. I never they regret. If you suffer, you go get. You go get. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Fine girls, they shake their body. Bad man, they see nobody. Do, re, mi, fa.
All right, before kickoff, we have a couple of quick announcements for you. And the City Business News was brought to us by MTN.
MTN says with SME Plus, you get to manage all your operational costs in communication. Now, this service simply allows you to choose from affordable packages and enjoy talk time. Get in touch with MTN on 0244 308 111 or dial star 5060 hash to sign up today. Kickoff is up next, brought to us. Okay, before that though, the City Business was also brought to us by Goil. Goil is saying that get to any of their service stations and choose from the wide range of products they have. Goil Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP, the best quality fuels with high performance in town for your vehicle. Goil, good energy. Goil, yeah, DM. Kickoff is next, brought to us by Lecheho. Lecheho giving you the best in terms of investments. Get in touch with them on 0577 707 700 and open a fixed deposit account today. Lecheho, a trusted safe haven for your investments. Lecheho, let's improve lives. And Shell is also bringing us Kickoff, and they're saying that Trotsky taxi truck and bus drivers buying fuel at Shell just got more rewarding. You get all kinds of amazing prizes when you go to fill up at Shell. Take your driving experience to the next level. Join the Shell Club today and keep filling up for more benefits, because driver, Shell Day for you.
Well, you're live on CT 97.3 FM. This is Kickoff with me, Evan Sofochuman. So coming up, it's match day for the Black Meteors against host nation Morocco at the Under-23 AFCON. We'll get to hear from the head coach of the Black Meteors, Ibrahim Tanko, and his goalkeeper, Danlad Ibrahim. Also, check out the latest transfer news where the chase for this player is on.
Petkowski dispossessed and on the floor. Here goes Rice. Antonio is with him. Still Declan Rice! What a goal from the captain!
All this and more on Kickoff with me, Evan Sofochumanso. All right, let's get into the details of the stories now. And the Black Meteors head coach Ibrahim Tanko is confident his team will be victorious against Morocco in the Under-23 AFCON today. A win for Ghana can all but seal her place in the semi-finals. And both the Meteors and the Moroccan Under-23 team won their first group matches. And Tanko is expecting a very tough match at 8 p.m. today.
Yeah, we are looking forward to this game, and both teams have won their first match, and I'm sure that it's going to be a very good game. After each game, you come out with your feelings, and I told the boys my feelings, and everything is good now. We have to prepare for the next game. Definitely, yeah, we have today and to get everything on course. So definitely, I'm cool now, and we are ready to the game. Both teams won, and definitely Moroccans have their strategy for the second game. So are we. So yeah, and I have a training today with my team. What we are going to do to, have a very good game. This is what we're going to do.
All right, so that's the head coach of the Black Meteors, Ibrahim Tanko, speaking ahead of the game against Morocco today. Now, for the Black Meteors goalkeeper, Danlad Ibrahim, he expressed his readiness to help sure that he helps his team to beat Morocco today.
We are very prepared. As we won our first game, all of us won the first game. Probably it will be a nice game tomorrow. And for the players, we are very prepared, and also we are going all out for the game, and we know the outcome of the game will determine the qualification for both teams. So in camp, we are cool, no pressure. We are just coming out to give our best, and inshallah, what comes in, we give things to Almighty Allah. When we get a win, definitely we will just qualify to the next stage. So we will just learn our mistakes from the previous game. We go in all out. We concentrate for 90 minutes. And inshallah, we know we will win.
So that's the goalkeeper for the Black Meteors, Danlad Ibrahim, with persistent inshallah there. Confident that they're going to win against Morocco today. And before the Ghana versus Morocco clash at 8 p.m., Congo will play Guinea at 5 p.m. in the other Group A fixture. So look out for these two games today in the Under-23 AFCON. Now let's come and do more stories on the local scene. And former Kumasi Asante Kotoko striker Mark Eduamofa has urged the Ghana Football Association to reconsider their strategies concerning the declining state of court football in the country. The former Black Meteors attacker expressed his thoughts during the AA Sports International launch, where he praised Asamoah Gyan for his contribution to the development of youth football through the Baby Jets Under-16 football tournament.
No, I'm very happy for him. He has done a lot ever since he handed his boot. I've seen him doing a couple of initiatives, which is very good. I encourage others to come out to also do it. He's a true legend, and we are all looking up to him because he was my senior at Liberty. So, yeah, we should all praise and adore. We should count ourselves lucky to have somebody like him around, who is willing to get into grassroots and develop. My main issue of this is I came from the coast era, and now there is no coast games anymore. This is one of my appeal to the FA to bring back the coast, because we are suffering now, not what we are doing now. It's because they destroy the court system some years back, and the repercussion is what we see now. So I'm very happy he's doing all those initiatives.
So that's Mark Eduamofa, former striker for Kumasi Asante Kotoko, and his message to the Ghana Football Association regarding the revival of Colts football. Now, in a historic achievement, Ghana secured her first ever medal at the African Beach Games in Tunisia with tech ball teenagers Sylvester Okonote and Daniel Fobi claiming a bronze. Now, despite being the lowest ranked team in the competition, the duo showcased their skills and a straight set victory over their more experienced Eswatini counterparts. And that's certainly a good one there for Ghana, winning bronze at that tournament in Tunisia. Good time to hear from the elated president of the Ghana Olympic Committee, Ben Nunumensa.
For us back in Ghana, this is a game that is very, very new. We haven't developed as much as, the Algerians or the Tunisians or even the guys from Eswatini. So for these young boys to start from behind, from way behind, and flip the image of Ghana here in Tunis, in Rabat, it's just unbelievable. And we're all very excited. We're very excited. At least we're sure that we're coming home with a bronze medal from this game. I mean, with a very small contingent, if you're coming home with a bronze medal, that is a good achievement. It is a good thing for tech ball sports in Ghana.
Ben Nunumensa also used the achievement to call for more government support for other least financed sports.
Yes, it's very understandable that for a nation like Ghana, football is our passion. Yes, it's not our passion. Let's give football all the support and all the financial needs that they want. But please, for Christ's sake, there are other Ghanaian young boys and girls who are talented in other sporting disciplines, like you just witnessed here in tech ball. Can we just give them a little bit, maybe about 1% of what we're spending on the Black Stars? And these guys would always live the image of Ghana. That is what I want us to. It definitely has to be. And other sports, there are so many other disciplines that we have so many young guys who are good. You have the badminton, you have table tennis. There's so many other disciplines.
So that's Ben Nunumensa, president of the Ghana Olympic Committee. He wants just 1% of the Black Stars money spent on the other sporting disciplines as well. Now let's move to England, and Jordan Ayew's 75-year-old manager at Crystal Palace, Roy Hodgson, will continue his role for the upcoming season after agreeing to stay on, and he's currently on holiday and is set to sign his contract upon his return. In some transfer stories, Manchester City have made a bid of £90 million for West Ham United captain Declan Rice. And we understand that the breakdown is £80 million upfront and then £10 million in add-ons. Arsenal, we understand, will make a third proposal also for Declan Rice. Luka Modric has signed a new one-year contract extension at Real Madrid until 2024. RB Leipzig wants €100 million for Manchester City targets Joshua Vardiol, and we understand that second round of negotiations will continue between the two teams. Paris Saint-Germain closing in on a deal for Theo Hernandez from Bayern Munich as well. And before I go, let's do some tennis updates. And fresh off her French Open victory, world number one Iga Swiatek made a strong start to her grass court season by defeating Tatiana Maria last year's Wimbledon semi-final 5-7, 6-2, 6-love in the Bad Homburg Open. So good one there as she prepares for the Wimbledon, which is set to start soon. That's the latest in the world of sports here on Kickoff on Citi 97.3 FM. We are back 5 p.m. with Sports Flash, and then log on to Citi TV. You're tuning into Citi TV, I should say, 10 p.m. tonight. Yeah, 10 p.m. tonight for the Citi Sports Roundup. And enjoy most of our stories also on citisportsonline.com. Follow us also on social media at Citi Sports GH on Twitter and Citi Sports on YouTube as well. My handle at Pichichi GH. Hasta la próxima from me, Evans Ofochu Manso.
If you need unique services, innovative financial solutions, we deliver on our promise, cause we are number one. Let's go, we improve your life. Let's go, mama, hey mama, hey mama. Even when you're stuck with nothing.
Come to Let's Go.
No matter your situation.
Come to Let's Go.
Let's go, we improve your life.
Let's go, hey, let's go, hey, let's go, hey, mama, hey mama, hey mama.
Let's go, we improve your life.
Let's go Savings and Loans. Let's improve life.
Passengers, Mama, me 2 minutes per why? Neighbor Cecilia.
Driver, you can't do this in London.
Oh, English, madam. We dear Mr. 1 minute per why? Shell,
Driver, we're in a hurry, please. What's all this about?
Oh, madam. Help me say thank you to Shell. Shell Fuel Save lasts longer and helps us to save more money to do more things. Also, because I'm a member of the Shell Club, I get loyalty points every time I buy fuels that I use to redeem gifts I love. I can get third-party insurance for my car, free medical insurance, provisions for my home, and many more. Shell day my side. In fact, when I see another Shell station, I will hug everyone there.
Hey, driver, what the fire kwanza?
Hey, English, madam. Into TG.
Enjoy numerous benefits when you buy fuel from Shell. Get loyalty points to claim third-party car insurance, family medical cover, provisions, and many more for free. Driver, Shell day your side. Go well.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Mosquitoes come through your door, kill it, will kill them for sure. Hey, kill it, will kill them for sure. Kill it, insecticide spray. Kill it, mosquito call. Anywhere them day, we've got kill it today. Intuntum nintefre. Kill it. Wow and wow ebia. Kill it. Mosquitoes and insects. Kill it. So they come there, yeah. Kill it. Intuntum nintefre. Kill it. Wow and wow ebia.
Have you heard? Kill It is back and available nationwide at all shopping outlets. Buy what kills mosquitoes, cockroaches, and all flying and crawling insects. Use Kill It Insecticide's strong and long-lasting formula that leaves a lingering sweet aroma. Buy Kill It Insecticide. This product is FDA approved.
A bank that supports you. A bank that cares for you. Hand in hand, we stand with you. So lift your head up, big dreams are waiting. We'll walk with you wherever you go. Where all your dreams come alive, CBG will make you smile. No matter we will rise with you. Your business will flourish. Your name will stand out. Consolidated Bank, CBG. We stand with you.
For Pepsodent, smiles are one of the most important things we have. The problem is, globally, 1 in 2 children suffer from cavities. Pepsodent, with maximum cavity protection, helps to prevent the formation of cavities. Pepsodent, because every smile matters. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Hey, Yaba. Look, Kujo and I spoke about it the last time.
What about?
Oh, it was about your car insurance with
with Imperial.
Yeah.
It was a good experience.
Wow.
I even traveled with their travel policy recently. Now I am fully with Imperial.
Hey. Now, dear, Imperial is the name in insurance in Ghana here. Share for all your insurance needs: motor, engineering, fire, accident, marine, bonds. Come talk to Imperial and have that insurance experience that gives you smiles. Call us today on 0302 788 955 or 0577 667 436 or talk to your insurance broker or any of our agents nationwide. Imperial General Assurance. Solid protection. There's no price like the ShopRite price. That's why we are committed to bringing you lower prices on all the essentials you need. Like 125 grams Abina sardine in vegetable oil, only 8 cedis, 49 pence worth, and 340 grams Lily corned beef, just 47 cedis, 99 pence worth. Never pay more than the ShopRite price. Prices valid until 9th July. Only at ShopRite.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
I went to a youth church and they were doing a youth ministry, so they were doing choreography, and so like formation dance, and I sort of appreciated the effort it took them to get it. They were like 8 people, teenagers, and they were doing nice formation dance. But when you watch Michael Jackson and his smooth criminal people doing that,
yeah, but just Charlie's people, it's high level choreography.
Charlie's car is like the same height, the same shadow. He wears white, the rest are in like black.
With his Captain Armband.
So before choreography, Michael Jackson
Well, there's always been corruption.
Hey.
always been that.
And then the other thing that shocked me was that he went to Germany to do a live stadium performance of this. And he reenacted it on the stage like the same thing. You know, and he gave them the same effect. The criminals surrounded him, shot them.
With his shining.
You know the biggest takeaway
best
from
performer.
this video is the epic lean
Charlie.
they do, and many people they've been trying to do the lean, but a lot of people don't know that it's a trick of technology. So this is it now.
So he didn't actually lean forward.
They didn't lean for it. So this was it. Now in the sequence, so where they dance, there's a mechanism beneath
the stage
that locks their shoes in place. So their heels have a certain thing in there. So it locks the heel in place.
So you can lean forward and
you
not
can
fall.
lean in all directions and not fall out of your shoes.
But to even dance in the shoes he was wearing.
but there are two things there. That part came after this. For the actual video, they used harnesses.
What's the meaning of that?
So
He
there were
held them.
strings. They were held in place. So it was for the stage performances that they developed the locking
Because I was like,
shoes.
how is this guy going to do this thing live? The guy leaned almost 45 degrees.
The leaning on the stage was actually very difficult because you still need to have significant
Upper
upper
body
body strength to do the lean.
And there were four.
You could fall, yeah.
Michael
He
Jackson.
was willing to try things.
He
you know?
fake way. And you could tell the preparation. You know, I was asking myself watching this thing, like the level of rehearsal you need. Because the whole thing was like a movie script where the lights would go off, he would do some sequence, they would dance, they would go off stage, they would cover this. I mean. All right, so this morning there are three big things we're doing on the show, probably four. So the first one, obviously, as seen not, we'll just give you snippets of the situation. The election is going to happen. The main thing to watch out for is the weather, and of course, the tension, if there's going to be any. And of course, throughout the day, we'll be bringing you coverage of the Asin North by-election. Two stories of concern this morning. Strike action by tanker drivers, which could have an effect on the availability of different kinds of fuel. We've spoken, because it's a nationwide strike. And the reason they are striking is what is interesting.
Why?
Over the nature of the roads.
We owe them.
No, the nature of the roads. And they're saying that the nature of the roads is endangering them.
Yes.
Right?
Which roads?
The roads leading to the depots. So they're saying that
I disagree with them.
let's listen to them first. So you wait. That's number one.
To them.
I'm coming to that. Then number two, the story in the graphic business, which
IPPs demand 30%.
Yes, I want to speak to Mr. Afetogbo quickly on this because I think that that
is a problem.
Yes, the story is understated, but you see, I saw an initial story on Bloomberg on this last month when the discussion about the external restructuring was going to happen.
Yeah.
And a significant amount of our debt is to these IPPs.
Yes.
So, Sky, if you can just give me the highlights of this story.
In fact, yesterday I received an email on this asking what is happening.
Yeah.
So this one here is not understated like that. It's a big problem.
It's a serious story. So apparently, IPPs, I don't know. The last time I interviewed them, they I think at least 50-something% of our power is supplied by independent power producers.
So let me just tell you about this story, which is on the front page of the graphic business. It's by Emmanuel Bruce, and it says IPPs demand 30% of $1.4 billion US debt to keep lights on, and they are kicking against debt restructuring. The story says even before government presents a formal proposal to the independent power producers, IPPs, on how it intends to restructure a $1.4 billion debt in a second round of domestic debt rationalization. The group of six say any debt restructuring discussion, quote and unquote, is off the table. Wow. Now, consequently, the IPPs have made a demand for the government to immediately pay 30% of the debt, noting that failure to do so would mean they can't guarantee power supplies beyond June 30, 2023. That's just in a couple of days.
Can you repeat that line?
They said, consequently, the IPPs have made a demand for the government to immediately pay 30% of the debt, noting that failure to do so would mean they can't guarantee power supplies beyond the 30th of June 2023. Now, this stand by the IPPs, basically, they are saying that they are threatening government's objectives of reforming the energy sector, blah, blah, blah. He goes on to say, following the approval of Ghana's IMF program by the Executive Board in May, the Bretton Woods institutions The story continues on page 6. Released the first tranche of $600 million out of the $3 billion support we asked for. Now, a key condition to trigger the additional $600 million budgetary support, which is due in September, is for the government to initiate measures to reform the energy sector, which is reeling under legacy debts totaling $2 billion as of May 2023, and an estimated debt projection of $5.9 billion between 2023 and 2025. Now, it is expected that the structural reforms we're talking about in the energy sector will reduce the shortfall by at least $2.95 billion over the period. Now, as per the reforms, the government is seeking to also restructure its debt of about $1.4 billion owed to 6 independent power producers between January 2022 and March 2023. Now, the government is, however, faced with some challenges in this regard, as the IPPs, who produce about 65%, but are not 50%, 65% of the country's thermal power, have from the onset rejected any debt restructuring proposal. Now, the 6 IPPs are Car Powership, Sonon Asogli Power Ghana Limited, Gen Power Generation, AXA, Twin City Energy, and Senate Energy. Now, the story goes on to provide further details and says
and it's
that
interesting that it's the same Sonon Asogli that is triggering organized labor's
nationwide
strike. So there's a lot of things happening in this story. 6 IPPs together form the Independent Power Producers Association. They are owed close to $1.5 billion.
More than that, actually.
In debt. I'll check that with Ellie shortly. They are saying that if you don't get at least 30% of that money by end of the week, they will not supply any more power. I don't know what the agreements we've signed means in terms of whether you are not paid and whether you can turn off the light or not. We will confirm the percentage of power the IPPs supply and then see if there's a link between all of this and the challenges that are going on with the Sonon Asogli in relation to organized labor. Eli Plim Apetogbo is the CEO of the Independent Power Producers Chamber. Eli Plim, thanks for joining us. Good morning.
Good morning, Bernard.
Just to clarify the facts, first of all, these independent power producers, how many are you who are owed by government? What's the number of companies?
Right. We are 6 in number with regards to the debt in question.
Yes, I'm talking about the debt in question. So how many IPPs are owed?
6.
6. And the 6 are the ones Richard mentioned in the story. Just for clarity's sake, I just wanted to be sure of that.
That is Senate, TC, that is Twin City Energy, Sun Power, AXA, Car Powership, and Sonon Asogli.
And in total, how much does the government owe you? Over what period?
Okay, it depends on the time you are looking at. If it is at the end of March, we are talking about $1.4 billion. If it is at the end of April, we are talking about $1.56 billion. Then, if it is May, we are talking about $1.73 billion. But our demand is based on the March position, that is $1.4 billion.
And this March 1.4, the monies extend how far back?
Well, I would say it dates back to January 2021, because January 2022, we indicated some time back that as at the first quarter of 2022, we had about $300 million outstanding. And the piling up started, and we raised alarm when it was $700 million in September. And here we are in 2023, May specifically, we are counting $1.73 billion.
Wonderful. Now, is it also correct that the IPPs supply 65% of Ghana's, is it Ghana's total power or Ghana's thermal power?
Yeah. Okay. We can look at it from the entire generation mix. If we are looking from that angle, we can say we are doing 46%. But if we are looking at the thermal generation, we are doing over 67%. But mind you, it is an issue of reliability or availability. So we can say we are doing close to 70% of the total generation.
I thought you said 46% of total generation and then 67% of thermal.
Yes.
Right. Now, are the debts owed collectively or individually? And by that I mean, you've put the figure to 1.4 for March, but I guess everybody has different components. So who is the largest creditor to government of power in this group?
Well, the position is a collective one, and I wouldn't be able to disclose the individual receivables from the government.
All right. I asked that because I thought that the government would make the payments individually, so that if, depending on the type of power you supply and your location, if somebody is not paid, obviously it will affect their ability to supply power. So that's why I was going with this. That notwithstanding, what has been government's response to your requests?
I would say we have received some call-ups from some engagements. We don't know the outcome of it. By Thursday, we should be able to tell where we have gotten to.
But all right, I'm asking this because of the report that says that if by 30th of June nothing is done, then the power would be but let me quote what you are said to have said, that if government fails in honoring your demand, you cannot stretch yourselves beyond June 30. What are you trying to say by that?
I confirm that. Basically, we are saying that we lack the resource to continue generation beyond the 30th of June. Because if you follow up our stories, we indicated in March, we raised an alarm that we are giving them up to the end of March to pay something to us to guarantee supply. We didn't hear from them, or there was some intervention. We listened and have given ourselves. But the fact is, beyond June, we just don't have the resource to guarantee supply.
Wow. So would that mean that all of you will turn your plants off? What does this mean in practical terms?
That is what it means to all of us. We indicated that all the IPPs are operating on, let me say, borrowed funds. And the critical challenge is our inability to repay our debt. Especially, let's say, the first quarter of this year, most of us defaulted. Second quarter is about to end. There is no sign of honoring those debts and coming with challenges and others. So what it means is that all of us, I would say the six of us, we are not in position to guarantee supply unless anyone will say that, oh, I've secured some resource to stay on. But the position for everyone is that we are not going beyond June 30th.
Now, I'm sure you are aware also that Ghana, as part of its IMF program, is in the middle of different levels of debt restructuring. So there was a domestic debt exchange that has been successfully done. There are talks that are expected to happen with Eurobond holders in the coming months to reach an agreement to restructure some of those debts. There have been discussions with our bilateral partners, the Chinese and the Paris Club, to agree to debt restructuring. So my point is that all our major creditors, including even individuals sitting in the studio, have all had to chip in something for the country to survive with the debt exchange that we all took. So why are IPPs kicking against any type of debt restructuring?
Unfortunately, our case is very peculiar. We have indicated that we have sacrificed a lot for the economy. We indicated that the debt or the arrears in questions are monies or obligations that we have already owed to our lenders. And the question is that how do we go to explain to them that we are unable to pay because Ghana's economy is in shambles? I don't think they will listen to us. You see, so this is a critical issue. We have made this point very clear. So restructuring our debt, what would be the outcome for the private investor like this?
Well, but the and I'm not holding brief, but even the people who buy our euro bonds are also private people, and there are risks with all kinds of investments, and the country is going through restructuring of all its debts, so that I'm not saying go and tell them you don't have money, but my point is that restructuring is part of the game. The country you invest in has risks. That's why you do political risk analysis. That's why you do different kinds of risk, and you work some of those into your interest rates, right? So if Eurobond holders are going to take part in a debt restructuring, I mean, why should your investors be any different?
I think we should not accept the challenges of our economy, Ghana's economy, as reason for not honoring our obligations. This is peculiar to Ghana, and I don't think that it is fair on our part. Let me say, if I say our part, I mean the government's part, to use, let's say, the private, all these Eurobond participants as excuse to pressurize to accept what they are proposing. They should look at the peculiarity. I mentioned the case of our sacrifices. You know, most of these deaths that we are talking about, the areas we are talking about, are issues, let me say, they have depreciated in many respects, but we still didn't say anything peculiar to that. We indicated that we, on most occasions, have to borrow funds to be able to keep the plants running. The cost of all this, in a fair commercial sense, has to be passed on to ECG to pay, but we don't do those things. Interest on default, interest on delayed payment is another angle. We have accurate records on all those things, but we do not surcharge ECG for it. So it would be unfair for us to subscribe to anything like that, because you could imagine, we do not want to say that what is happening to Ghana is something general, and for that matter, everyone outside Ghana's jurisdiction should accept it.
Fair enough, but I'm not sure if the government has made any firm proposal yet, but it appears the IPPs have already taken a position that debt restructuring is off the table. Isn't that a bit odd that a proposal hasn't been made yet, but you are saying that you are not even going to consider any debt restructuring of any kind? That's pretty interesting.
Yes, we know what we are interested in. Is you are the one owing us. At least approach us that. How do we solve the problem? And we said that for us, we are willing to accept a payment plan rather than debt restructuring. By debt restructuring, we know what they are talking about. We are talking about give us a payment plan. How do we intend to pay? Not to restructure the debt by what they mean. Tell us that you're able to pay 15%, you're able to pay 30%, you're able to pay in that so that we can see eye to eye with each other.
I see. Ellie, just to clarify something, you said that the 1.4 billion was for March. Is this 1.4 billion for power produced or for the capacity charge?
These are energy charges, invoices, monthly invoice, accumulation of monthly invoices.
Invoices for power produced or for the, because I'm sure there's a distinction between the power you've actually produced and distributed versus the so-called capacity charges, right?
Is the invoice for power actually produced?
So for March, all the 1.4 billion is for power produced?
Yes.
I see. And this power has been produced.
This is where our concern lies, that everyone, majority of consumers, pay for what they are consuming. And the question is, why should that keep spiraling? We are expecting that once people pay, give to distribute whatever revenue we have collected fairly to all the actors on the supply chain.
I see. And this is power you've produced since January 2021?
Yes.
Wow. So if by Friday you don't hear from government on this 30% demand, so this is almost like a demand notice, a public demand notice. If you don't hear from them, we should expect the 6 IPPs to stop giving government the country power.
That is the position.
Wow. All right. Thank you for talking to us. Eli Plim Afetogbo is the chief executive of the Independent Power Producers Association. 6 companies: Car Powership, Sunona Sogli, Sen Power, AXA, Twin City, and Senate Energy. These are the 6. And they say that they produce about 67% of our thermal power and 46% of our overall power. If by 30th June they don't get money, they say they will turn off the power. Time check is 3 minutes to 7. Let me do a few birthday requests before we come to tech and social media trends. And happy birthday greetings coming in to Jaden Van der Boscha. You are 1 year old today. Your presence is the greatest gift I've ever received. Thank God for your life. Happy birthday from your dad, Rolex. Wishing a happy birthday to Rhoda Etonam Amuse from Daddy and Mommy. Messages, we love you so much. Happy birthday to my mother, Mrs. Selassie Jabing Adu of Tema General Hospital. You are 65 years today. The Lord bless you and keep you, make his face shine upon you and give you peace. Coming in from Frida Adu, your daughter, to Mrs. Selassie Jabing Adu. And also, happy birthday to my son, Edem Ashigbe Jr. of Akosomo International. May God continue to bless you as you mark another milestone. May you be at the top of your generation. From your mom, your sisters, your aunties, your grandma, Regina, and your dad, Kenneth Ashigbe. Also wishing my father-in-law a happy birthday. He's an avid listener of your program. He lives at Obuatse. He's called Mr. John Williams. This is from your daughter-in-law, Abena, and from your daughter, Erica. Sorry, from your daughter-in-law, Abena, and Erica Osai of UPSA to Mr. John Williams. All right, so these are messages coming into Mrs. Rita Yeboah of BLCC, Better Living Christian Cathedral, coming in from Thomas and friends at Citi. God bless you so much.
And I'd like to say happy birthday to Mami Amwaku, CEO of Kiddie Tricks. It's her birthday today. A message from her husband, Edwin, their children, from Gina, myself, from the entire family. So Mami, happy birthday to you.
8 o'clock, time for tech and social media trends. We're going in there straight. It's brought to us by Vodafone. The move promo is finally here. Receive up to 20% of your money back in your Vodafone cash wallet when you recharge with 5 cedis or more. You can even send credit to a friend and they will receive up to 20% instant cash. Recharge with 5 cedis and get more money. The higher you recharge, the more you get back. Keep reloading in the Vodafone the move promo and win with Vodafone. And FBN Bank is also proud to be associated with the segment for children aged up to 12. You can open a Kids First account to show them how exciting savings can be. For teenagers, the account helps them to embrace the culture of financial responsibility. This is 13 to 17. With a Kids First account, your child of up to 12 years gets to enjoy memorable activities, while the Me First account affords teenagers the chance to learn about money in a fun way. Call FBN Bank on 059 6921 921. And it's time for the second social media trends, Nathan.
Yeah, a few things trending. Hajia for real is trending. Yesterday was her birthday, and so she dropped. She was on Instagram Live, and
Has she finished her cutting?
Oh no! So we had people talking and all of that, Charlie. So wait. Wendy Shea is also trending. Yesterday, a video of hers dropped. I think she released it. It looks like it's a snippet of an upcoming music video, and it has people talking about that particular one. On the footballing side of things, a number of very interesting ones trending. But James Maddison is trending. Now, the story in England is that Tottenham Hotspur are speaking with Leicester City to potentially sign James Maddison. And then you have Arsenal and Man City, Declan Rice all trending because...
It's a nice headline.
Manchester...
Arsenal and City want Rice.
Yes. They've put in a bid. The latest is that West Ham have turned down Man City's bid, but it's expected that they'll go in again with another bid. So there's a bidding war.
Cashing in.
Charlie, terribly on that one. On the tech side of things, Facebook's owner, Meta, has launched a virtual reality subscription as it tries to make that part of its business profitable. Now, Meta says paying users will get access to 2 new games a month. For the first 3 months of the year, the parent company of Instagram saw a $4 billion loss in its VR unit. Meta is facing competition from firms including Apple, which has unveiled its highly anticipated mixed reality, or which unveiled its mixed reality headset earlier this month. So it looks like Mark Zuckerberg and his people are trying to fight the competition from Apple because the VR side of the business is not doing too well.
Okay.
One day, an old lady inherited a huge sum of money. Her family worried about how to break the good news to her. They feared that the sudden good news might give her a heart attack. And so they decided the family doctor who was experienced in delivering such news should be the one to tell her. And when he did, surprisingly, she just smiled. Relieved, he asked, "What are you going to do with all that money?" She replied, "I'm going to give you half." The doctor had a heart attack. People are often surprised when we put them first. At FBN Bank, that's what we do. We put you first. Open an account with us today and enjoy mobile banking, USSD banking, shop and pay with our prepaid Visa cards, MasterCard, and many other services designed with you in mind. FBN Bank, you first.
Brother Bernard.
Yes?
Onya, this morning I'm very hungry. Please, let's go and buy gobe. This time, I want her to add small salad, small talia, and soft cocoa, specially made for me. Pay, you know how I like to customize my food.
Hey, because of what? You think say you dey buy Vodafone made for me bundle offers? Star 530 hash is the code to get the best value offers made just for you for as low as 1 Ghana cedi.
Hey, Brother Bernard, so you've been hiding Vodafone made for me bundles from me?
Oh, just dial star 530 hash. Feel special with the Vodafone made for me bundle offers. Get unbeatable best value offers from voice, data, or voice plus data bundles made just for you. Dial star 530 hash to subscribe to Vodafone made for me bundle offers or download my Vodafone app today.
Vodafone, further together. Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
For Pepsodent, smiles are one of the most important things we have. The problem is, globally, 1 in 2 children suffer from cavities. Pepsodent, with maximum cavity protection, helps to prevent the formation of cavities. Pepsodent, because every smile matters. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Passengers, Mama, me 2 minutes per why? Neighbor Cecilia.
Driver, you can't do this in London.
Oh, English, madam. We dear Mr. 1 minute per why? Shell, madam,
Driver, we're in a hurry, please. What's all this about?
Oh, madam. Help me say thank you to Shell. Shell fuel save lasts longer and helps us to save more money to do more things. Also, because I'm a member of the Shell Club, I get loyalty points every time I buy fuels that I use to redeem gifts I love. I can get third-party insurance for my car, free medical insurance, provisions for my home, and many more. Shell dey my side. In fact, when I see another Shell station, I will hug everyone there.
Hey, driver, what the fire kwanza?
Hey, English, madam. Into TG.
Enjoy numerous benefits when you buy fuel from Shell. Get loyalty points to claim third-party car insurance, family medical cover, provisions, and many more for free. Driver, Shell day your side. Go well.
There's no price like the ShopRite price. That's why we are committed to bringing you lower prices on all the essentials you need. Like 1.7 liters essential cordless kettle, only 189 cedis, 99 pence worth. And 500 ml Palmolive shower gel assorted, just 44 cedis, 99 pence worth. Never pay more than the ShopRite price. Prices valid until 9th July. Only at ShopRite.
Some phones just get you, you know?
like the way roasted plantain gets garnets and vice versa. They are awesome together. Meet the new Galaxy A24. You can be awesome together. You need to create and capture all your memories in stunning detail. It says here's a 50 megapixel camera. You need a good battery. It's got one that can last 2 whole days. You watch a lot of videos on your phone. It's got a 6.5-inch screen in HD display. You want a phone that doesn't slow down in between apps? It's got an octa-core processor. Now you get why the awesome Galaxy A24 gets you. Get it now from any Samsung authorized store nationwide.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Friday, Japolo, all night, Saturday night, our club. Yali, Martin, men shock and Google cap. I the shape in all the Bible, bed, go for say, Dallas, so they snap in the bed. Ti guys in our do chapel walk when double share. One house on a club in one bed. Tinyame summer pa na yellow sumia. Bisa unia, they bisa waso. Nyame summer pa na yellow sumia. But Jehovah full of body lukeni. Tinyame summer pa na yellow sumia. Let yellow be lukunda plastic. Nyame summer pa na yellow sumia. Suma mi ya lukuna genetan. Mesate muda pa. Ada nyame baba physical. Sawan kwansi da pada, ashana heaven when you nipa. Kwaso no kwalo no waso, waso into mo wanka. Sika semini ticha puli, here fi into mo wamba, into mo wambo. A webo down the things fall apart. I can was anointed men touch. Chapuli wa school sipa. So it's
8:08 Citi Breakfast Show. We don't want to alarm anybody, but the IPP thing is a bit concerning because we just checked that 66% of our power is thermal and 33% hydro. Now, remember when I did my article on the IMF program, I said that one of the things we need to do is to invest in
energy security,
in energy sovereignty, which is related to renewables, because renewables, you don't need dollars, right? Now, here's a business where you have 100% of your power, 2/3 of it is from thermal sources, and about 50% of the thermal sources are private companies, most of which are foreign, all right? So you are exposed, and even the local ones, you're exposed to buying fuel to power the plant. So even the 66% of your power depends on oil imports. I think our hydro resources have not been overexploited. We and Akosombo, we should do more exploitation of those. We should go into wind. You should go into power sources that naturally are renewed, that don't require too much fossil fuel. It's cleaner, and it's also more. I know you have to have a balance. We need to do solar as well.
Nuclear?
Because why not? Because as we sit here, if 6 companies, and I'm not necessarily holding before God, but if 6 companies say they're not going to give you power, what do? That's 46% of your power is gone. So even in terms of its national security, it's not secure. So there should be a conversation about diversification of power sources, and the diversification should also be geographical. You can't have all your power in Tema. So it's good they took some to Takrady, right? You need to have power enclaves in Ashanti. There was a solar thing they're doing in the north. You need to diversify. So Bui is great. You need to diversify your power so that if an act of God occurs in one geographical area, you still have enough. Do you get me? And we are talking generation now. So Akosombo is in the eastern region. Bong is close to that place as well. Bui is in the Bono region. We need to dump some of the things up north.
Yeah, but the question is whether it is economically viable. It's not just enough to have a river running through a community. The question is whether the level of intensity you need to actually propel the turbines to work, you can get that.
How about wind?
Wind.
You know, when you go to Holland, they have all these wind-powered power plants.
So even that one, they have to do the assessment and be sure that we'll get enough wind to propel.
But have we assessed? For example, if you go to the Adan area, if you go to the Volta Basin, it's possible you can have some nice wind powered turbines. We need to try something.
I believe that the folks at the Energy
to try
Commission
something.
and then the Energy Ministry
Yeah.
would have done some work in this particular area. Because I remember that there was some time ago that there was an agreement signed, an MOU actually, to use part of that area where you have the confluence between the sea and then the Volta Lake,
Yes.
right? There's some...
Is that an estuary?
Sort of. There's some intense,
work going on there.
That's right. Undercurrent in terms of what
Yes.
happens under the
I've actually been there once.
Yeah, they wanted to use it for electricity generation, but for some reason, I don't know what has become of that. Again, as we speak, there's intense work going on between Japan and Ghana to bring on board the idea of birthing a nuclear energy producing institution here in Ghana. And the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission is leading the effort. You know, Kwame Nkrumah, long before many of us were born, actually thought of the idea of bringing nuclear energy into Ghana. But when he was overthrown, we threw everything away.
I actually think that to be one of the requirements for any public office in Ghana is to read Nkrumah's books. If nothing at all, read his 7-year development plan. Just read the intro that J.H. Mensah wrote. You know, J.H. Mensah was 29. Think about it. He was 29 when he led that project. Like, for Nkrumah to think about hydro, to think about nuclear, to think about solar, everything significant that we have in this country, Nkrumah thought about it.
Education.
You know, and it's like we've left the template and we are running around. It's not like the diversification of power that we're talking about. So now we are sitting here. I pray that something is done. Because, you know, when you listen to the IPPs, they are not even prepared to engage on restructuring. And it's funny because, Sky, if you say restructuring, what is restructuring? I owe Godfrey 100 cedis. And the plan was I'm going to pay him 20 cedis every month. And it's been 6 months, I've not paid him anything. So already there's restructuring has started. So if I said I'm going to pay you 15 cedis every 3 months, that's debt restructuring. It's not necessarily to say I will pay you less than 100 cedis. Do you understand? Yeah. But it's like we've conceived restructuring to mean the haircut. Okay, so I'm a bit worried when he says we're not going to consider restructuring off the table. Because if you are owed 1.4 billion for March and the government can't pay you all that 1.4 billion, they have to give up a payment plan. Right? And what is the structure? If you go to a bank, when they talk about the structure is the terms that they give you the money and the terms that you pay back. So, for example, if you lend to somebody who runs a fast-moving consumer business and he's selling every month, you can lend based on his cash flow and you pay him a certain amount every month. Now, if you lend to somebody who's into farming, who's planting rice, and he needs 3 months for the rice to be harvested, or maize, and he's going to, the structure of his debt is that he will pay you every 6 months. So when you say structure, the structure is the arrangement. You know, scale it by arrangement. So the structure is the arrangement. Yeah. So it's like the interest you pay, the amount you pay, that's the structure of the loan. All right? So there are people who are experts at structuring. So we are saying debt restructuring. I'm trying to just make this easy for people to understand. It's basically saying that the government of Ghana may owe you 1.4 billion for March, but they may not be able to pay you the 1.4 billion within the originally planned structure. So they need a new structure of payment. Did you follow my logic? Yeah. So when I hear Eli, it appears to me the government is not talking to them. Do you get me? It's like, because if you are in constant engagement with the government, you don't go to Graphic Business and Citi Breakfast Show and then have to explain your position. It tells me that either, and I think this is the finance ministry, I'm not sure whether it's energy ministry, there's some level of lack of communication between the IPPs. Because the IPPs, people, they talk. They are available. They speak. And the more you hear them, it means that there's some lack of agreement over this, how to handle this money. All right? And we don't need to wait for it to get to a point where they actually turn off the power. Yeah. You know, because and you need this doomsday thing. It's a very funny thing. It has a way of... Its negative multiplier effect is too much. Yeah. Because it affects everything, and then it's also irritating. So when the power doesn't come on, factories cannot work, companies can't work, generators are loud, diesel is expensive, then people start feeling irritable, then the whole thing becomes something. So
it's not good for
I don't think it's good to hear IPPs say that they are not getting the cooperation, they are not hearing from government properly. Do you understand me? So between the finance ministry and the energy ministry, there has to be some urgent action taken. Otherwise, we are in for a very difficult surprise.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be careful here. So as they say, wet to the wise is enough. All right, Nathan, tell me why I need to brush my teeth with Pepsodent before I come to
because
another strike. Because the other one is, and look, sorry to make it complex. So IPPs say they will strike. Now the tanker drivers too say they won't even carry the finished product that we are importing to power our vehicles too. And that could have an effect not just on transportation, but also on industries. So we have to be careful. And the other one is that TUC is also going on strike because one of the IPPs has disbanded or sort of sacked some people who wanted to unionize.
Yeah,
so it's like
a union and they fired them.
The whole thing is bizarre. So it's something that we need to watch.
Well, Pepsodent's cavity fighter is there. You're asking why I need to brush your teeth. Well, it's fortified with profluoride and microcalcium ingredients, sealing tiny and invisible holes in your teeth. Pepsodent Cavity Fighter, maximum cavity protection, 10 times stronger teeth, and they have been doing 25 years of education, so we cannot brush day and night. Call Pepsodent's helpline or care center on 0800 200030. Pepsodent, every smile matters. Now, if you owe TDC Development Company Limited, this is a final notice. If you owe them at all, whatever debt it is, go and pay. Now, they are stating several modes of payments. You can use the mobile money short code *737*46# or visit any GCB bank nationwide, or go to their Ashaiman sub office opposite Joe Cinema at Ashaiman Market, or the TDC head office near Olam Senior High School. Now, all such debtors and defaulters are reminded that the company will exercise its right to recover possession of the affected plots and premises and redeem the outstanding amounts owed without further recourse to them if payments are not made by June 30. Also, WILDAF and WAPCAS. WILDAF is the Ghana West Africa program to combat AIDS and STI, while WILDAF is the Women in Law and Development Africa. They are joining forces to help us take on discrimination and stigmatization for those who have HIV and TB. Call 0204 917 521 or 0800 123 555 if you want to join this worthy cause.
All right, still on the Citi Breakfast Show. I wanted to segue into the petroleum tanker one because I thought it was interesting. Yesterday we talked about roads, right? And look, for petroleum tanker drivers to strike over roads, look, guys, we've been talking about the road leading to the Tor area for a long time. The Bone Enclave, some of the roads, they are not really good, all right? And the tanker drivers are basically saying that all their complaints are falling on deaf ears. And what is funny is that this is not just an Accra Tema issue, it's also Kumasi. So there's a certain coincidence of occurrence, all right? Now, there are many things to talk about. Axle load, quality of roads, all of those things. But for it to get to a point where tanker drivers are not striking over pay, they are not striking over, do you get me? They are striking over the quality of the road. In the second year of roads, I mean, that's, I don't know. Caleb has been trying to get us the minister. I really need to ask him a question about the year of roads, but that's a different issue.
Have you been to the industrial area in Tema around the Tor enclave?
Not in a bit.
Oh, yeah, who are you, Christo?
So you're talking about when you cross the motorway.
Yeah.
And then so there are two ways. You can use the Harbour Road and then you go to Tor Roundabout. Or you can go as if you are going towards Dawenya. And then you make a right and then you enter back. Is that the one you're talking about?
The two sides, all Bernard. The roads are horrible. In fact, those are not roads.
And these are the roads that the trucks are in Community 4, Tema. Where is Community 4?
You know the Tor Roundabout. You know the Tor
Yes.
Roundabout. Yeah, when you make a turn.
Yeah, the Tor Roundabout service on way.
In fact, the roads there are hopeless. They are useless.
Hold on. Where is Community 4? So one after Tor, you go to one. Yeah, it's in that area. Let's hear the Kumasi version first before we come to Tema. Edmond Baba is the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the Tanker Drivers Union. He spoke to Mario Sanda yesterday.
Yes, it's true. We have embarked on a sit-down strike. It's very, very true. Okay, what is your problem?
Our problem is if you go nationwide, anywhere we lift petroleum products, including the Tema on Enclave, Ashanti region, the boss, what do we call it, the Castle Enclave, come to, what do we call it, Takrady. Our road network, very bad. The roads are so bad that anytime it rains, actually it is always an eyesore. And it's like we have been to the ministry severally. I quite remember very well, somewhere August 2017, went to the presidency. The president, this is the first time Nanado is the first president to have called the Ghana National Petroleum Tanker Drivers to the government seat. When they handed us over, it was part of our complaints. Handed over us over to the road ministry, and I speak up to now. We have never met him even on one occasion. Anytime you go, he gives. There's always an excuse. You drop your letter, whatever you do. No, nobody cares about it. Now, along the line, we just kept quiet, hoping they will come. Nobody came. 2 years ago, we wanted to embark on a strike. But that strike was intervened by the sitting chief executive officer of NPA. Told us we should leave it. He was going to intervene. We have done so many things. Gone round, and nobody is minding us. You see what we are doing? We are not trying to sabotage the government. No, we are not politicians. We are not talking about politics. Because we all have our individual political, opinions. Yes. But this is what is happening. We want to save Mother Ghana. We want to save Mother Ghana because, as I talked to you, your Ashanti regional rep, Hafiz, came to me this morning. I sent him around. He saw it himself. What is happening? How the road network is here in Kumasi. I'm talking about Kumasi right now. I've not gone to Accra.
Baba, the issue of road problem or problems with the roads, it's faced by everybody, isn't it? Why is that you're the only ones who are complaining that to the extent that you are going on strike?
I love what you are saying. It's faced by everybody. But look at our end. Look at the what we call it, the income we generate for the government. Go to the filling stations. Every liter of fuel you buy, there is this petroleum belt up there that goes into the government coffers. Now you look at Kumasi, for instance, just in front of the bus, depot, where we lift products to supply in the regions. In the region, I'm talking about Ashanti region alone. I don't talk about the other regions where we supplying. Let's talk about Ashanti region. Let us assume that the vehicle loads from the depot comes out and then it flats. I've given everything to your rep, Hafiz. When it flats, and a vehicle happens to go into one of these ditches, I'll call it ditch because the manhole that has created there is so severe that I don't know. Now, when it so happens that a vehicle falls down, anytime a tanker falls, I think 95% of the total percentage of tankers that fall down explode. Now, when it happens to explode, it will run into the depot. We have about 8 to 10, tanks there, reservoirs. Then it happens to touch one. It will also explode. Then everything will explode. Now, when it explodes, all these tanks explode. Look at the number of workers who might have been there. Do you know the fatalities will get there?
So I see the picture you're painting now.
Very good. Now look at the you wait. Look at the area surrounding. We have Sokoban, we have the Wood Village, we have Kuwait, we have Kasi, we have all those places would have been history. And look at the number of people who lose. Huh? Then you leave that one aside. Look at the depot itself. Look at the what do we call it? The debt that the nation is going to incur just because of one person's negligence. What are you talking about? We say yes, it's true. There are some places that we have so many. Everybody is complaining, but there are some places too that are also enjoying massive infrastructures as far as road networks are concerned. In Kumasi, for instance, from ADM to Kuwait Junction to maybe Sokoban Village, how many kilometers is it? Go to Tema. It's about some 7-8 kilometers. Then you go somewhere and be developing some places, and then you leave these places where you make money. So what are they saying? What is our crime?
So what your strike means is that you are not going to supply fuel to the filling stations.
We are not going to do anything.
So it means we should fill up our cars and wait because
I don't agree. Well, that is if you will advise yourself as it.
How soon before the fuel stations run dry?
I don't know because I am not an OMC. Excuse my language, please. I'm begging you. I'm not an OMC. I am not a filling station manager. I don't know. But that one is not part of what you are thinking about. We want to save Mother Ghana. Because it would be better to do this to save Mother Ghana than to think about the shortages that will come on, that will be coming on. Let's take it that way instead of saving Mother Ghana.
So that was Ashanti Regional Chairman of the Tanker Drivers Union, Edmond Baba. So he spoke about the Sokoban area. In the Greater Accra region, George Nyaunu has been speaking as well, and he spoke about the Kpon Road, the road in the Kpon Enclave, which incidentally is the same. It's not too far from where the power is also generated, right? So lots of activities there. I'll take a few comments on this shortly. But just get Bell Pack tissue, one of the best things in life. Our tea rolls are soft but not weak, strong but not hard, just perfect. We have the Bell Pack pocket tissue, the table napkin, the toilet roll, the kitchen towel, and others. Simply call 055-114-4400. Bell Pack is another quality product from Bell Aqua. And Shell Helix is specially designed to bring out the best in your engine, protecting from wear and tear while providing the power and performance needed to give you the best ride every time. Visit your local Shell station today and experience the difference for yourself from Shell. And Pepsodent is recommended by the Ghana Dental Association with a number of strong characteristics. Our cavity protection is 10 times stronger, gives you hard teeth, basically helping fight cavities, sealing tiny and invisible holes in your teeth, and also releasing the right herbs to repair and protect your gum tissues. Call 0800-200-030 for more information. So, gentlemen, the road question has gotten to the tanker drivers, and they say they want to strike. You know what's funny? Yesterday, I interviewed one of the politicians about the road construction at Sin North, and I said to him, well, the NDC is saying that you are doing roads because of votes. And he says, well, when you look at the way a road is done, we can't just mobilize a contractor to do a road. He says that there's a process. Is that true?
Of course, yes. There is a process, but, as is the case with almost everything else, you can't always fast track the process, which is what they do when by-elections are in play. They call contractors to mobilize quickly to site, and then they begin work so that the locals will see that, the government actually means well for them. It's happened throughout the history of the Fourth Republic. During by-elections, all of these things happen. Bentua is shared.
Still?
All kinds of things are shared. In the one we saw in the Kumau constituency recently, those things happened. Electricity projects are done to areas that ordinarily were not given electricity previously. And you see those things happening presently in their Sin North constituency. So it's all about government putting pressure on people it is close to, as in contractors it is close to, and promises are made to them, and they move.
So you're saying that the tanker drivers know this,
which
is why they want to lay down their tools. Because if they agitate enough, something will be done.
Oh yeah, I mean, imagine these guys deciding that they will not move petrol, or they will not move LPG, or they will not move diesel. What it means is that a good part of our economy is gone, because transportation will be disrupted. Businesses that rely on these fuel and related products to run their businesses will be crippled. And so the government would have to get up quickly and do something about the situation. But the truth is that when you go to these communities, the roads are terrible. I don't... Look, I tried it recently using a fairly big car to the Tema Enclave. When I finished... I had to call the mechanic to come and look at the vehicle.
Serious?
Bernard, the road, I mean, these are not roads. These are gullies you see in, like somebody described it yesterday. Like, almost to Galamsey. The roads are just terrible. There are places where you don't even see asphalt. It's just Sakura. So. And these are the industrial centers of our country. So if these guys are agitating, I believe they have a good reason for agitating.
Godfrey doesn't agree. He said he didn't think they should go on strike.
Well, I've listened to them. Maybe I've changed my mind. You never know. But my position on the matter is this. We know where these enclaves are and what happens in these enclaves. So it means a certain type of road should be built. The first question, are these the types of roads that are there?
No.
In the enclaves of Buipe, Tema, which is where... Buipe, Kumasi, Takrade, Tema.
Yeah.
These are the areas that they are talking about. And these are places where obviously they see significant traffic because of the weight of the cars. That go in and out there. So one, do they have the kinds of roads that are designed for that kind of weight?
Is that instead of concrete?
Yeah, so it means that the planning then is off.
Because for big trucks, you need concrete.
Yeah,
yes.
sometimes.
So the roads are supposed to be built in a certain way.
Or they use pavement.
The pavement blocks.
Yes.
There's one that soaks water.
Because the tall about is even a mess.
It's horrible.
Terrible. And when you use asphalt for roads that are frequent usage, it just deteriorates. So you notice that for School Junction, when they get to the curves, they use the pavement blocks. Ajing and Rawlings Junction. So usually that's what you do. Even the runabout on the boundary road at East Legon. Because vehicles use it frequently and the friction is of a different kind. Asphalt is movable.
Yeah.
So some of the things, I go to Temachale, a lot of the roads are in I don't know.
Yeah. So the question I'm asking is, and I'm going to expand the conversation a bit. So the roads that lead to these places are not designed for these kinds of places. So it means we have not identified properly what happens there to give them the kind of routes that will last. Then listening to the chairman from Kumasi, please, his name, if you can help me with his name.
But it's called Baba Edmond Baba.
Yes.
Ashanti Regional Chairman.
Listening to the Ashanti Regional Chairman,
Edmond Baba.
Mr. Baba. He also spoke about then the general network of roads, Bernard. We need to, and again, it comes to yesterday, the conversation we're having actually, about just the poor planning.
Yeah.
You see? So you see this BRT.
Yes.
Here.
Graphic Road.
The Graphic Road.
It's there. We chop World Bank money free.
The roads are such that, so if you were going to the breweries,
yes,
and you are a brewery truck, you should use the outer lane where the train tracks pass and pass in front of Graphic and then go.
If we were using BRT.
You know, if everything was working correctly. So knowing that that is the kind of track that passes there, that side of the road will be built in a certain way, true or false?
True.
Because you know that this is the route plied by... No. The brewery trucks with the crates and bottles. 1. 2, they don't come into contact with regular vehicles, right? Because that is theirs. Now here we are all competing with
all the cars.
All the cars, all types of cars
are on the same road.
And that's steep.
Which is dangerous.
Very, because it's not supposed to happen. Now on Friday, which is where the conversation I was having with Fred Jabano came from on Friday, on my way to the office, there was a 4-car pileup there because a big truck had lost its brakes descending.
Hey.
Now the first
going towards graphic or
going towards graphic.
My God.
Now the first car that it hit was a Toyota. When I got there, the Toyota Corolla looked like a Matisse.
Hey. From the back.
From the back. So there was a police. No, nobody died. The police tow trucks were there trying to move the vehicles out. Now the point I'm making is, under normal circumstances, the design is such that that truck with the weight and size should not be at the top.
That thing. Yes.
Okay. Now that thing in about 3 or 4 years will start developing potholes and whatnot because of the extra weight.
Load, yes, because you are right.
Okay.
You are right.
Now,
but
2
how
days
the
ago,
track on top of it?
Hold on.
It couldn't pass under.
That's where they have to use. It can't pass under.
And they didn't design it that way.
It's not. And right now, the right side of the road that they are supposed to use is a market.
Oh God.
It's a market and a trotro station.
A truck loaded with fuel was on a steep incline.
So that's the route they use.
My God.
When they're supposed to be flat.
And the cars
they're always on the incline.
The cars they hit were waiting for traffic to turn.
To turn, exactly. Now, if you look around Accra, these fuel trucks, where do we not see them?
Everywhere.
Everywhere. They use the same routes that we use. And it's not just them. We see the sand trucks on the same road. You complain about the cement mixers. They are on the same roads.
They are called cement redistribution
trucks.
Because they pour the cement on the road to spoil it.
So they're not mixers.
They just redistribute cement to destroy the road. And then the water trucks.
And
there's something they call axle load, which we in Ghana, we just do it for shege reasons. We don't actually implement it.
It measures how much weight.
But so you are saying that there's a link between lack of enforcement and culture of maintenance. So it's not always the fact that there are not enough roads. But we haven't even planned the thing properly so that the cars that are not supposed to use certain roads are even using it.
Which is the next one I'm coming to. Now, when there was a time I was moving through central Nairobi, and I realized for a very long time, something it came to my attention because I see it a lot here. I'm like, I don't see trucks.
In the middle of the town.
Like these kind of trucks. Middle of... No, you won't. It's very rare. Unless you are moving at dawn. There's a certain time period that you will see, and even that one, the routes are very specific.
So you don't compete with us in traffic?
No. You will never see that kind of truck in a certain place. Never.
But there are some roads that you see only trucks.
Only trucks.
That's why they have those long pile-ups.
There are certain parts where what we call Matatu trotros.
Only trotros will go.
They only use that route. At a certain point, it's blocked off. They cannot go beyond that point. And this is city central. You cannot. Trotros go everywhere in Accra.
So even in Nairobi, there are demarcations for where you can go and where you can't.
There are certain places, if you go to what they call the CBD, even motorbikes are not allowed.
Just walk.
You have to walk.
No matter who you are.
So basically, if you got to this junction here.
So maybe the EcoBank at the...
That's your cutoff point.
The EcoBank that takes you to the... there's EcoBank, the Graphic Road interchange.
No car.
Obiabe 19.
Everybody walks.
All the way to Cocoa Board.
Everybody walks.
To CMB.
Everybody walks. You understand?
And this is Nairobi.
Yes. Now, the point I'm trying to make is we've built roads. We know the kind of trucks that use which kind of trucks. So, for instance, motorway, the N1.
Yes, we know.
We know what kind of road it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Right? We know what kind of road airport should be.
I've even seen fewer trucks in airport residential area before. Like it's from Kanda Highway, then he moves to Gold House, then he passes in Charlie because then he go and pass on the rail.
Because there are fuel stations
everywhere. So you see the proper planning.
Even if there are fuel stations everywhere,
the ways to get there,
you can still decide that for fuel stations in residential areas, a smaller version of the truck must go. You see. Sometimes we think about things like...
I am coming.
So you cannot close down all fuel stations.
But you
can still have a way of doing it.
But I do call that I'm coming. Have you used the back end to Abubloshi here? When you get to...
Beyeman,
that road. Have you used it before?
I avoid it. Okay, sometimes I cross it and then sometimes.
Both sides. The one near the Presby Press.
Yes.
And then Beyeman Road.
Sometimes I use it.
Oh, today try.
Why? What's happening?
It is not a road.
Oh, it's bad.
Because, Bernard, it is container central.
Oh, yeah. I mean the main one.
It is container central. 40-foot containers drive by for fun, one. Two, all the onion and tomato trucks who are coming in use that road to get to Agbogbo, used to travel that route. Yes, but there's still a market up there on the other side. So you still see trucks. Two, the scrap trucks are also there. Those who are stealing our things, alumi, are also there on that road. So now that is an inner city road. Though. It is not designed for any kind of weight.
Let me ask you a question. Are Ghanaians less disciplined than Kenyans? Or is it because I'm thinking about it? We are the same color. We are the same.
It's not discipline. I'm talking about planning.
Yes, that's my point. So
and enforcement.
Monitoring.
But you know, if you keep talking like this, they will send a delegation from Parliament to go and visit Kenya to study there.
No, that's not visit whatever. But I'm just saying that you see the link between our general dissonance and this strike now.
So you're talking about lack of planning, lack of enforcement, and sometimes lack of common sense.
Yes.
Which then sort of mixes up into roads getting bad too often. And
yes,
people have
because so for instance, you are telling me about, I don't use this part of town. You are very familiar with the Tor runabout that you are talking about.
Yeah.
Everybody, it's called Tor runabout for a reason.
Yeah.
So if you are a person building roads, Tor runabout.
It means there must be different materials.
There must be different
because
materials.
You are going to a place with a lot of tracks.
It is called Tor runabout.
For a reason.
For a reason.
The whole Harbour Road.
Do you remember the Coca-Cola runabout?
Yeah. Spintex.
Back then, I haven't used it in a while. Is it still in good shape? That road was bad.
There's something interesting going on at Spintex because of the new Clarport interchange and then the new road they've done. The original Spintex road is deteriorating. In fact, I want to even posit that Spintex road, Spintex Bachona, that whole area has lost its shine.
It's no longer that it be.
15 years ago, everybody was living on the Spintex road. They've moved. And that's the other issue with us. We are not able to. It's a couple of things. We are not resilient. We don't build with compassion. Everybody's selfish. And then the local authority is weak and ineffective. So there's a lot of haphazard things that happen. So like East Legon is now the booming place. Spintex Road is lost its last.
East Legon previously was meant for residential purposes.
Everybody is selling their house for a shop. And everybody, so all the banks are there, barber shops are there, the Alele too are there. You know,
so
it's become but that's the thing. Godfrey, so your point is very important. So we move to the next big thing. So it's like what's the name of this group? There's called there's a certain center for, it's like the authority for planning of our urban spaces. Yes.
LUSPA.
Land.
Yes, LUSPA.
Yeah. I actually think that if you analyze most of the topics we discuss on this program, spatial planning or lack of it is probably 60% of the issues.
But I talked to LUSPA.
Because housing, rent, roads.
I don't think it's so much a question.
But LUSPA says nobody listens to them.
No, so I'm not saying, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying LUSPA is not working. I am saying we are not doing spatial planning.
So you have to enforce it. You see, it's one thing having a plan on paper. If they pull together a Accra's plan as originally planned by the founders of Accra, you run away.
So our problem is lack of implementation.
Exactly. So somebody goes to put up something where it should not be built. Churches are being built where they should not be built. Mosques are going where they should not be built. Of course, the traditional people haven't done that yet. Industries are coming up in areas they should not be built. People are selling cement in residential areas.
Yeah.
That means a cement delivery truck
will
come there.
Into the area. You understand? And people have opened shops that invite big bottle trucks. They bring in all the Guinness you consume, the beer, all of them are coming into the area. So these things would disturb the road.
So there's always a tension between what private people want to do to advance their business and what the authorities must do for all of us to be comfortable. But what tends to happen is that everybody wants to cut corners. So everybody wants to do it their way because they will go and see the DC, they'll go and see the planning people to get what they want. So you go to like the school junction to Ajengano Road. Everybody has put up shops everywhere. The road will deteriorate because by the time, look, if you are driving from Rawlins's Junction to School Junction, there are even parts of that road that people do cement depot.
Yes.
There's a cement depot on the road, and a cement depot means you have like huge trucks.
Yes.
Then there are people who sell this the
iron rods.
And Sky, by the time the iron rod track will turn,
half the road is broken.
You get me? So it's like we are not prepared to. And then look, I would say we are not worse than the Kenyans, but what the Kenyans have or the Tanzanians have is enforcement at the local level. They empower people to enforce. We, because of the way we do our politics, if you are DC, somebody will call you from somewhere, you can't say anything. They want to keep their job, so they can't do it. So there's so much violation of basic common sense. You know that the DC, if a minister calls a DC, what can a DC say? Meanwhile, in some countries, a provincial local authority is very powerful. He can fine you, he can jail you. But here, if you are an MP, you can do anything you want because the DC, who is he? You just call Flagstaff House and say, but this DC guy is not serious. They'll just sack him. They'll transfer him with punishment. Then we'll come back and all complain and say, Bernard, things are not working well. So I think we are used to dystopia. We are not ready for development. We just want to be happy. That's how I see it. We just want to enjoy ourselves and die and have a big funeral. Yeah. We are not really serious about anything. Look at what he's saying. Even in Nairobi, you won't see trucks. In Nairobi, how advanced are Kenyans than us? And you have Ghanaians. Just go and stand at this thing, Graphic Road. Look at the Odo River. Look at that whole enclave is evidence of everything that's wrong with the country. Really? The Odo River is polluted. The road is not properly designed. Trucks are using wrong routes.
Our beaches. There was a video I saw just 3 days ago of some American returnee.
They was complaining about plastic pollution on the beach.
Beaches that should be serene, that should be inviting, where you go and think, reflect, read, just relax in some cases. The things you see at our beaches here in Accra are revolting.
Let me ask you this.
And by the way, the road is the GTP runabout.
Yes, that's what somebody. That's what I was going to. That's what I was going to mention.
Let's read some comments that are coming in to put this in context. Don't forget, 9:00 is fast approaching. 9:05, we take you into the first edition of our final week. This morning, I'm speaking to the COO of Gesal, and we're discussing the agribusiness value chain.
Just to wrap up, if you don't mind.
Yes,
just 30 seconds. So, in summation, all I'm saying is the strike is on. The solution to fixing to this strike is for the roads minister and his people to sit down and say, okay, the road from, I don't know these places very well, the road from wherever it is to GTP runabout sees 100 trucks of a certain weight per day. So from this point to this point, this is the kind of road that they will get. It will not just be the regular road that we are constructing. From this point to this point, it sees this kind of weight. So that they do not have these situations. And then also enforce the aspects where we see these, again, heavyweight trucks competing with your car and my car on a small road here. And then when it gets spot to complain. Like yesterday, somebody sent to him, was it 2 days ago, that Ave Maria, the road had been ruined because of what?
Because of sand carrying trucks sending
and normal sand to Otojo.
So explain the point. So Otojo is a place of reclaimed land. So this is a massive swamp that nobody should build.
It's supposed to be a buffer.
So what we've done is that we've sold. Yes. So they've sold the Otojo place to people to build houses.
They have not, so people have taken it upon themselves. And nobody has a permit there.
They brought sand from other areas to fill it up, and they built. When it rains, people have to sleep outside.
And then he will say, "We yes, you Ghana new, buying a baby boy, and you never say."
But in doing that, they have ruined all the roads within the inner city, the inner town roads from Dansuman, Snit Flats, Keep Fit, all the way, because the trucks are on that road. Bernard, for the past 8 months, if you live in that road, from Dansuman roundabout to Ham Junction,
so let me ask you
a
question.
You count like 30.
Let me ask you a question.
Per day of those trucks.
So for Sky, let me just come to you. So the person who goes to build at Otojo, which is a swamp, and this is not one house, this is like 500 houses. Is it it's not poverty necessarily, because to build this kind of house you build in Otojo, you are not necessarily poor. That's number one. Number two, to build 500 houses will not happen in a week. It means that it probably took them 5 years to build that. So the people who give them the building permit, were they asleep?
But would they even have permit?
They don't have permit.
They don't.
So, but if
many would not.
Okay, so if they don't have permit, a building is not a miracle that happens overnight. so no building can
just shows up.
Spring up. You need the material to set. So it will take at least 6 months to build a house, if not a year. Are you telling me that the people who are in charge of the space didn't see houses rising in Otojo? Did they initiate a court action to say you can't build a house in Otojo because it's not a place for building? You have 500 houses now. Now every week trucks are going there to fill it up. And then we call a minister and say, what should the minister do? What should Henry Cote do? Or whoever. So I'm saying that we know the mindset of the people, I think, is selfishness and irresponsibility. That's where it starts from. And bad leadership. Because once you start doing the wrong thing and nobody stops you, you get empowered to continue doing it. Because once you start that building in Otojo and somebody says, dude, you can't build here.
You see, there are a number of things that happen in other jurisdictions. So first of all, you need a hotline that people can call and report. That, oh, I live in this particular community. Just yesterday, I saw this building going up in this area. It is unclear to me whether they have permit or not.
They will call and say you've took them.
You see, so that's one.
The authority will call them and say, inside radio guy no you or friend say, oh, see that. So that's the mindset.
You see, so that is one side of it. And then also at the ministerial level or at the supervision level, what do the ministers do when they go into office?
They are tired.
Because if you are the minister for local government, for instance, my expectation will be that you should be receiving weekly reports from the various assemblies as to what is happening in those assemblies, where there are concerns, what can be done to address those concerns.
Let me ask you a question. Don't you think by way of design, the Ministry of Local Government is a misnomer? Because if you have 16 regions and you have 250 MMDCEs, don't you think the MMDCs should be reporting to the regional ministers so that you are decentralizing more effect? Because if I'm done, but you're sitting in Accra and somebody is building something at Otojo, but when will I finish and do the Ramsar site and then go to the one at OT? That doesn't make sense. Like, why do you have 200 and something MMDCs reporting to a local government minister when you have 16 regional ministers who can then do you understand? You are devolving the power. So the whole design is not even meant. I don't think the design is sensible. Yeah, because this Otojo matter? Don't you think that a regional minister would have been more useful in the matter to stop it than to wait till the minister of local? Do you know how many documents are on the local government minister's desk? It's not possible. So we haven't designed the system to work, and we are not improving the system to make it work. We are just thinking about keeping ourselves in power, winning elections, making sure we appoint people so they can all come and chop, and then we all support them and vote and go and make noise about our sin not and come back and sit in our dystopia. We are not really interested in the benefit of the. So it's like we are fighting for control of the power, but we are not sure if we even know how to design it to deliver development. Because all the things government has discussed, from the road issues, is leadership failures all through. And it's cascading because the people themselves, I'm saying that we ourselves, we've gotten used to the freedom they've given us. We've become very indisciplined. And we expect that we are exceptions. So when you are doing something wrong, you want to call somebody. So in Ghana, there's a calling culture. So you call the police, you call a doctor, you call a DC or somebody in the assembly, you call your pastor, you call your chief. You are always calling somebody to intervene on your private behalf when you are doing things that harm the rest of us. And until you stop picking the phone when they call you, it will continue.
Yeah, but you can't pick the phone. You can only hear.
So I'm saying that the radical way to do it is to stop picking people's calls when they ask you to intervene, when they do the wrong thing. That's what you mean the MCE powerful to do his work. Because if MCE comes to say it's coming to stop your building project, and I can call somebody in Jubilee House to say, Charlie, I lost keep my man, so make you deal with him nice. Yeah. The MCE will now start looking over his shoulder and saying, if I can't do it for Aloski, then Nathan too can build. Because if I know somebody that flats that house, Nathan too knows a pastor. And you know somebody in parliament. And all of them are powerful. And the DC is just there for 4 years. He's trying to feed his family. What will he do? He doesn't want to lose his job. Because by the time they go and choke him to the president, he's not there to defend himself. So why will the DC guy stop you? So you see what we do? Then when we all do it and we are happy, then we call a radio station and say, oh, they are doing the wrong thing. But you've done the same thing. That's the problem. So if you don't empower people to do their work, there's no way. Because all these things you are saying, people do anything. Yep. You know, so Ghanaians, if you don't want, you can development is not by force. You can be happy. You can eat kebab, drink Guinness. When you die, we'll give you a big funeral. I'll do 1 week for you. You won't achieve anything. But if you want to be respected in the world, it requires sacrifice and discipline. And we must let institutions work. I'm telling you. If we don't change our life, we will suffer and die for nothing. I'm telling you. And some of us will not even be remembered. Yeah. He came, he begat children, he died. That's all you do. That's all they did, just begat. They didn't contribute anything to society. That's also allowed. It's not a sin. So, Sky, I'm saying that there's a
history remembers kings.
We have to think deeply. Sky, we have to have a national thinking day where we think about things that are wrong and how to correct it. I'm telling you, National Thinking Day. Everybody will think from one to upper. Everybody must think.
Ideally, we should be thinking every day.
No, but
that's what we should be doing every day.
Why do you celebrate days? You don't celebrate Farmers' Day because that's the only day you eat from farmers. You celebrate a day because you want people to know that it's an important thing.
Like tomorrow's Allah.
So it's not because we don't serve Allah. It's just that day is the special day.
Okay.
I'm saying that our problem as a society is that we don't think deeply enough about our reality, which is why all these problems keep happening. Nathan, read some comments so that we can move on. Why? Yes, you read some comments first.
Okay, all right. This one says, the IPPs have every right to demand for their money. It doesn't look like this government is broke. Look at the display of money in the 2 by-elections. What shows they are broke? This one says, I'm still baffled by the government giving tour to a private company. So what happened to the tour recovery debt we had been paying since former President Kufuor's time?
Recovery debt was not meant to be finished paid, though. It was meant to be paid in perpetuity. They are not planning. So even if the tour debt is over, they'll find some use for it. You never stop paying it.
Call it legacy debt.
You pay it until you're an old man.
I'll tell you. Yeah. This one says 2 million
solar
panels are 15,000 feet above sea level. Only China can accomplish such mind-boggling projects. Okay. It says the technology solves the safe connection of solar power with the grid and prevents waste, addressing solar power's inherent dependence on the weather. Okay.
Interesting.
This one says, I agree with the strike by the tanker workers. I visit that area for work often, and the road is one of the worst you can find in Tema. This road is a major artery for flow and movement of fuel to and from depots, pipelines, and even some power plants. With the onset of rains, the road is largely motorable. Any incident with any tanker will pose a national security threat. There's a contractor on the road, but the progress of work is slow.
What kind of road is the contractor building? Adam, if you can tell us, please.
Or is it asphalt?
Yeah, that's the thing. So in 3 months, it will rain and
that's the main road.
All right, this one says, is it true that the government wants to borrow from the treasury bills to pay salaries? Please investigate for it. That money is what my family and I survive on.
But shouldn't even try. They rely on those because,
What does it mean to borrow from the...
Yeah,
no, hold on. The question is not even properly put. What do you mean to borrow from the T-bills?
No, I think the government issuing...
effectively when government issues that they are borrowing from us.
That's not what you're saying. T-bill is government borrowing from you.
Yeah, is it? No, maybe it's how he's communicated.
So government cannot borrow from T-bill to pay you. But government will issue T-bills to get money to pay you.
That's all he's trying to say.
Yeah, but he's saying that's the money his family depends on. What does he mean by that? Charlie, move to the next one.
As in the payment of, like when it matures, the payment. Do you understand?
So he's hearing that government wants to borrow from the coupon.
The thing is not well grounded. Let's move on.
This one says, you guys keep eating about the bush on the subject of power. The answer remains the same. If you can't collect all the money for the power you produce, you end up in debt, irrespective of the source of power.
But there are different sources of power because a kilowatt hour of power generated by solar or by hydro is not the same as a kilowatt generated by a thermal plant. So the type of power is also important in the pricing.
Yeah.
So it's not a question of just payment. That's why we're talking about diversifying your power sources. So please don't make it seem as if everything is about ECG. It's not.
No, it's not. Yeah.
It's not. Okay. Don't confuse us, please.
This one says, I would like to ask the government and ECG what happened to the money they collected recently.
Well, they use it to pay their debt, the debt they owe. You know, they owe the IPP, the generators,
yes.
Gridco and these people some money, and they paid some of the money.
Talking of payment, you can get up to 1 million cedis in a collateral-free loan from ABSA. If you're a female entrepreneur, you're a young business owner, or you're into agribusiness or fintech, and it's in partnership with the MasterCard Foundation. Loan at only 10%. Get a collateral-free loan from ABSA. Go to absa.com.ga to find out more.
Heritage Christian College is a university set up to provide a missing link in tertiary education. They have a wide range of programs, BBA programs, BSc Nursing, Information Technology, Information Security, and BA Theology. They also have some master's courses. They have media short courses and some professional courses as well. Call them on 0202-298-399 or 0547 777-731. If you want to go to their campus, they are at Amasaman behind the Olympic Stadium. Heritage Christian College and University training compassionate entrepreneurial leaders. If you're looking for good water to drink, Standard Water should be your choice. They have over 25 years of experience. They are in 11 regions and they are expanding gradually. And they have water to serve all kinds of needs, your home, your office, special locations. Just talk to Standard Water on 0202-055-703 or 0547-334-385. This ad is FDA approved. Now, Old Mutual is 10 years. Join them to celebrate a decade of greatness. They have a great workforce of about 500 employees and they are championing customer operations here in Ghana. Call them on 0501-579-204 or visit oldmutual.com.gh. Old Mutual do great things every day. And there's good news for small to medium-scale business owners. With SME Plus, you get to manage all your operational costs in communications. Just dial *5060# to sign up today or call 0244-308-111 for more info and stay connected everywhere you go.
And if you want a British degree from a world-class university at a fraction of the cost, join Lancaster University Ghana right here in Accra with a diverse student community, vibrant campus life, and 50% scholarship to support your study. Lancaster University Ghana provides you with a world-class education that creates endless opportunities globally. Now, admissions are currently open for our October 2023 intakes. Apply for our foundation and undergraduate programs. Call 0302-218-989 or send email to admissions@lancaster.edu. Lancaster University, the only British university campus in West Africa. When we come back, it's the first in our final week. We're talking agric and agribusiness. My guest will be the COO of Gersal. It's called Mr. Tichis Raha. We're speaking about the value chains in agriculture. Stay with us.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
It does get better anytime you're